meteorologist. Dave Murray.
5:05 and current temperature is 32 degrees. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show on 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere by downloading the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
What
The
just
Marc
happened?
Cox
Come
Morning
on.
Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
I respect that. We don't agree.
listen to both sides.
This
Let's get it on.
is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
I moved this thing and the screen has turned blue on me. Blue. Like purple blue, like I can't see it.
All right, good morning to you. It is Friday. Tick, tock, tick, tock. The clock is ticking toward a government shutdown. Man, if you listen to the mainstream media in this country, you would be convinced that all hell is about to break loose, that Armageddon happens just after midnight tonight. Kim St. Ange, I don't know about you. If you're listening to the network news at the top of the hour, you're listening to the show that precedes us, the Gordon Deal Show, you would be under the belief that the world is coming to an end tonight when the government shuts down.
Yeah, I found it interesting. Just the way they talk about what would have the impact from a government shutdown,
Yes,
because
which is nothing.
I keep going back to what Congressman Eric Burlison said yesterday during our conversation, that 85% of people won't even notice it's shut down. The other 15%, a lot of them like it because they're basically told, hey, go home, and we're going to not pay you, I guess, right now, which would be tough, but then you're going to receive back pay when you go back.
You know, anybody who's worried about this, here's the deal. You know, I love having Chad Pergram on the show. He's the chief White House congressional correspondent, I should say, for Fox. And last night I watched him on there with Brett Baer, I think it was. And he's like, you know, Chad, what's the real impact? Let's just assume for a moment that at midnight tonight, government funding runs out. And they're not going to have any more funding till January 3rd. What happens, Chad Pergram? Chad says, well, nothing, really. He said that essential personnel, law enforcement, military, all that, still get paid. Medicare, Medicaid, all that, still get paid. They've already processed the payroll for the next round of checks. So any checks that are due will still be paid. He said, effectively, nothing's going to happen because the problem will be fixed on January 3rd before the next round of paychecks were even due to be sent out. So technically, nobody would lose any money in any of this.
See, the Gordon Deal Show, though, I thought they were saying something about law enforcement would be forced to continue working, but potentially with no pay, which I knew to be incorrect from what we've learned with Burleson.
I know. Everybody is freaking out for no reason over this. With any luck, and I heard J.D. Vance say this. I got the soundbite here. I'll play it for you at some point this morning. With any luck, this thing shuts down tonight. It's not on the Republicans. It's squarely on the shoulders of the Democrats. I've listened to Claire McCaskill say she's got the talking points. Oh, this is that evil Elon Musk. He's a billionaire. He doesn't care if you get paid or not. He's a billionaire. He's clashing with Donald Trump, blah, 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 blah. Not Elon Musk's fault. And it's also not the fault of Thomas Massey or Chip Roy or Eric Burleson, who are among the people who voted against the second vote they took last night. Like there's the Gateway Pundit put out a list. Here's the list of the 38 people who voted against this plan. Like that's a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. These people, I got to tell you, man, I am this morning in Chip Roy's corner. What he said yesterday made more sense than what any of them are saying. Chip Roy for Speaker. That man needs to be Speaker of the House. If he was Speaker of the House and Musk is in charge of Doge and Donald Trump is in the White House, crap would get done. It's never going to get done with Mike Johnson in there when he's willing to make deals with devils, and that includes many people in the Republican Party and most of them in the Democratic Party, because all but two of them voted against that deal yesterday. The Democrats, that is. This is much ado about nothing. Headed right into the holidays. They just need drama. That's what they need. So I would just say that you don't have too awful much to worry about. We're going to get you several reports on that this morning. We're going to check in with Jessica Rosenthal from Fox News Radio coming up in the next hour. We got some tickets to give away to Toto in the 7 o'clock hour. We're going to talk about this new report on Joe Biden. There was a report overnight that Kamala Harris had to cancel her vacation and rush back to Washington for some reason. Joe Biden had to be rushed back from Delaware. Nobody's quite sure what's going on in Washington, D.C. Madeline Rivera with Fox is reporting live outside the White House. We're going to go check in line with her this morning. We're also going to talk about what those interest rate cuts, the effect they might be having on the real estate market and the mortgage market. So we got lots of great stuff for you in just a few minutes. But first, Ethan, let's get to this morning's top stories.
I'm just going to let you know, Mark, I'm going to play Bill O'Reilly as your last one since I killed your PC.
My computer is dead. It's DOA this morning. But go ahead.
The Marc Cox Shortlist.
When I got through cancer about 12 years ago, I made my promise to my kids that I would do everything I can to save this country. And what we're doing right now is to continue to double down on the things that are destroying the republic.
That right there, right now, Chip Roy is making the most sense of just about anybody in Washington, D.C. Can I just say that? He's been through cancer. He said, I've survived this. I'm going to go to D.C. and I'm not going to do a single thing to hurt your future, like adding $5 trillion to the debt ceiling.
And the plan is to put the border security and some defense components of reconciliation out first, and then follow it up with the tax component.
No. All at once, ma'am. All at once.
I love it. That's Larry Kudlow. Larry Kudlow, who worked for Trump for years, saying to this United States senator, no, we don't want this in stages. We want the cuts now.
Even though this vote would push the debt limit to 2027, it in no way reflects any lack of enthusiasm on our part to get about those serious cuts for the American people. We have to have fiscal responsibility as a core principle of our party.
I've just about lost confidence in that guy. That's Mike Johnson. I don't know how long he lasts as Speaker of the House. Somebody floated the idea of Elon Musk as Speaker. That will never happen.
If she tried to convince Cassidy Hutch to testify a certain way in front of the J6 committee, then this woman violated federal law.
Yep. Bill O'Reilly, you probably recognize that voice. We'll do it live. That's Bill O'Reilly, former Fox anchor. He's saying that he thinks they should go after Liz Cheney.
Do you think they actually will?
I don't know. I think they'll investigate whether or not she tampered with the witness. I mean, that woman's testimony was key to that J6 committee reaching some conclusion that Donald Trump had something to do with the break-in at the Capitol, which he didn't. It's silly season. But it was a very biased report, and they needed a star witness, and there's evidence that Liz Cheney coached this woman on exactly what to say before the committee. If that's true, that's witness tampering. Now, I don't know the legalities of whether or not the DOJ can charge somebody for that. If it's Congress is kind of its own beast, and it was doing a committee hearing in its own house. It's not quite like it was in an actual courtroom somewhere. I don't know the legality of it. But if they find out she tampered with it, they can at least make a lot of noise.
So here the question would be then, will Biden preemptively pardon her?
Maybe. He's out of it, man. He is.
Did you see that report that came out where it was the Wall Street Journal, I think, originally posted, talking about how his staffers knew from day one when he took over as president that he was not there. I mean, we knew some details of this, but I feel like this is more evidence that everybody knew, including Kamala Harris, obviously, who denied it up until, a couple months ago when she was asked by some of the networks during those interviews about covering up his lack of mental
acuity.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's fine.
So Kim, I know that even before you joined the show, you probably listened to every chance you could, but I just want to point out, in case you missed this, back in November of 2020, elections up in the air. It's unclear who won, who didn't win. Democrats are claiming victory. We saw the big spike. Everybody's claiming Joe Biden won because millions of votes were miraculously found in the middle of the night. Heading into January 6th and then January 20th when he was sworn in, I said this repeatedly on this show. We're about to witness the greatest cover-up in the history of this country in the presidency. Joe Biden is a vacant shell. He is a Trojan horse who's being manipulated by the people around him. In fact, technically, he's not running things. He's being told what to say and manipulated like a puppet. And the question will be similar to the Watergate question. What did they know about his mental condition, and when did they know it? And lo and behold, it has taken 4 years for the mainstream media to finally come to that same conclusion. I know. Let me pat myself on the back. I'm hurting my arm here. What the hell took him so long? Where you been? Is the question I would ask this morning. All right, Ethan, let's get to the fray this morning, I'm assuming, right?
It is.
All right, don't want to disappoint anybody.
Well, Ethan, I went from bad to worse, brother. I had something going on here, and then it just died.
So proudly we hear at the twilight's last gleam, these bus stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, or the ramparts we watched were so gallantly.
It's all right. As long as it's
in the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air. Proof through the night that our flag was
you weren't. I wasn't fully plugged in. That's why.
Say, does that star-spangled banner wave?
Right here.
Or the land of the free.
Ooh, I got Trent this morning. Yeah.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
So far, so good. Pretty decent shape out there in most spots. You've got a couple of roadworks delays to get around. Emergency vehicles as well. 141 southbound. Watch this in the right lane. That's on the ramp over to the Ladue. Moving roadwork on 170 or 70. Make that westbound. Watch this past 270. You find that in the right lane as well. Partial anyway. And then emergency vehicle 64 eastbound past Kings Highway from an earlier incident. And once again, 64 on your eastbound side past Kings Highway. Otherwise, 170 southbound. Watch the ramp to westbound 64. A little heavy from an earlier crash. They're cleaning that up now. From the Cordell & Cordell Domestic Litigation Firm Traffic Cam, I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
I don't think so.
The Annie Fry Show.
Donald Trump gets back in. He
Who
almost
got
has
it
a
for your
humble
dad?
approach.
But I thought you had to have one going so it will play.
But it didn't go over the air.
It didn't go over the air.
Thank
I
God.
don't think so, but yeah. Mark talking about his computer. Wait, that means they probably would have heard you say, "I wish Annie Fry would."
Yeah, probably. What's that?
I said it's not like Annie or any of them are waiting for that. There was literally nothing on, unless it's just.
Brian Becker says it was an air evac medical helicopter yesterday, Kim.
I'm sorry, what?
Ryan Becker says that it was an air evac helicopter yesterday.
Focus on pure and simple nutrition, exercise and oxygen, mindset, and minimizing
What's the matter?
your body. Transform your health.
Okay, now I'm screwed up again. Son of a bitch.
What to do?
Or online at healthfromwithinstl.com. And Neovite,
Everything's larger than life, and I can't get to the things where you would like. Oh, there it is.
Kim, now you got me worried. Like, there is literally nothing on.
No, I don't know what happened. All I know is
because there's no red light, so I know one going over
here. I
here.
knew that Mark. I didn't tell him Mark was complaining about the computer.
Yeah.
So literally, he said Mark talking about his computer. So it's like he definitely heard it. But again, he is watching on Facebook. He would not be listening on the radio.
Thank you, Hugh.
So
thank him.
But I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what's running through the thing.
Tell him we will watch our P's and Q's.
Ask him if he can still hear us.
Yeah, I said no. I asked.
Can he hear anything?
Original formula multivitamin. Available at your local Tierbergs and Schnucks, select independent pharmacies.
Did you?
Online with our easy-to-use.
Well, I muted mine.
Look, now there are two cameras up here again. Why are there two cameras?
That I don't know. I've only got you on one.
Shopping experience joyful. Shop at Ruler Foods.
Development
Ruler Foods is offering holiday meals at just $30. Perfect for feeding a family of 8. This holiday meal includes all the classic favorites to make your gathering memorable. The meal comes with an 8-pound Sugardale ham, fresh pineapple, Kroger potatoes, King's Hawaiian rolls, and a delicious burrito.
Mark, are you wanting to play anything out of this?
Everything you need for a festive feast at an unbeatable price. RulerFoods.com. Scott, I have a new word. What are you saying?
Yeah, I don't know. Let me look here.
Actually, both. Because at Best Buy Flooring, we have the largest selection.
So they're starting some new sports thing at Channel 4. Have you heard of this?
No.
I don't know. I haven't either.
10 seconds.
And there. This is the Christmas gift everybody at Channel 4 got this year. I must send it to you.
Here we go. Mark, you got about.
Yeah, I'll play a soundbite.
All right. Your PC's live. Whenever you're ready.
There's some ketchup flying tonight because Donald Trump looks tiny right now. And he hates to look tiny. He looks small compared to Elon Musk. Everybody knows Elon Musk did this, and Trump just said, hey, me too, at the end of the day. And secondly, once Trump weighed in, he has been flying high. He's been saying, everybody loves me now, and everybody's in love with me. I'm the time of the year. He can't even get his party to vote for what he wanted them to vote for.
I have to tell you how much I'm enjoying watching the liberals squirm over this whole thing. I told you this yesterday. You can listen to me or you don't have to, obviously. The talking point memo that went out from the Democratic Party yesterday was blame this on Elon Musk. Try to make Donald Trump think that Elon Musk is greater than him. He hates feeling small. These are words we want you to use. Donald Trump is less than Elon Musk. This is Elon Musk's problem. He was leading the fight, not Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. Come on, folks. I know you don't buy any of that garbage, but MSNBC, CNN, ABC, CBS, all of them have been playing that angle since yesterday. In fact, this morning on the way in here, we're listening to that Gordon Deal show there, and on the way in, and I'm listening to them report off the top. 0 for 2. The Republicans are now 0 for 2, and the government is just hours away from a shutdown. Well, the Republicans aren't 0 for 2. Mike Johnson might be 0 for 2 because he struck a deal with the devil. But what conservatives said to Mike Johnson, to Chuck Schumer in the Senate is we're not going to do this. We're not playing this game anymore. Mm-hmm. Chuck Schumer's not going to hold us hostage and give himself a pay raise and waste billions of more dollars. We're done. And the person that said that best out of any of them was Chip Roy. I love me some Chip Roy. Can I just tell you that? This guy is absolutely fantastic. And I want us to go to that bite this morning. Listen to cut number 3. It was my favorite soundbite from yesterday because you want to get mad at the people that voted against the second try yesterday. Don't get mad at them. They're on our side. These are the good guys. They're not against Donald Trump. What they're saying is we want to cut spending at the same time and not raise the debt ceiling and add trillions of more dollars to the debt. Go ahead. I love his passion. I got to tell you, he's not mad at Donald Trump. What he's saying is, and Laura Ingraham got on him last night. She goes, yeah, you say that, and I'm with you, but it never works. And he's like, that doesn't mean I'm going to quit trying. Somebody's got to stand up and say, we're not spending anymore. Somebody's got to be the adult in the room. Somebody's got to be the dad who stands up and says, I'm sorry, checkbook is closed. We're not going to the mall this afternoon. We're overdrawn in our bank account. We'll be back in just a minute.
Guys, we're still going out. People are saying on YouTube and Facebook, my dad just said we can hear you. So we're going out over all, doing commercials, we're going out over all the streaming services. You can hear our audio.
Or maybe you're looking for that perfect gemstone piece or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of.
See if we're still going out.
My dad just said yes.
We'll ask him again. I just clipped the mic on. I just clipped the audio on this computer.
It's got to be something running through the board.
Because literally somebody, my dad said it, somebody else commented about it on Facebook, and then somebody else commented about it on YouTube.
You're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. Literally nothing's changed. Purchase even more affordable. We've got special financing, so you can spread out your payments. Get to details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life?
Mine's muted, yours muted, yours muted.
What's your plan for health care and long-term care?
No mics are on.
Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Staples, and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand
all of you at
address
529.
relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement
Text Carl.
consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com.
Hello, everybody, as we are talking to you guys during the breaks.
That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695.
It is a nice shirt. I'm sure I'll get a comment on it.
Did you see the picture? Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a cold Friday across St. Louis, a mix of clouds and sunshine, so really chilly weather clouds in the sky. It's
Wait, what am I looking at?
So
this is
I
Nick's
forgot to
wife.
hold on, I didn't look at this yesterday.
and the gusty winds, if you're caught out in them, it's going to be a little different. Some clouds around 25 Saturday.
Just ignore my text.
I know, I do pretty much.
That's okay. It's his next wife modeling this. He goes, it looks like something like a rapper would wear. And this is the shirt. This is the name of some sports show they're doing, and they gave everybody this hoodie / coat.
Oh, Marge just said hello, everybody. We can hear you. That's hilarious. I hear Mark and Ethan's hard to hear ads. Hello, everybody. We can hear you.
Hola.
We don't know what's going on.
Loud noises.
I'm going to send this to Trisha too. I know it's 5 in the morning, but maybe she's up with the kid.
I'm Janica Soda.
Trump's victory doesn't mean our financial worries are over. Hi, Dr. Rock Hall here. Washington's spending addiction still threatens your savings. That's why I recommend gold IRAs from my friends at Birch Gold Group. These accounts protect your retirement from government mismanagement. For a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word SHELTER to 989898. Don't wait. Text SHELTER to the number 989898 now for your free kit from Birch Gold.
That's what you're doing. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Things pretty light out there for most of the system. We've got a couple of situations though on 141 southbound at Ladue. We've got a right lane closed with some emergency vehicles moving to road work on 70 westbound. This is past 270 before in a lane as well. And emergency vehicles as well, 64 eastbound. Highway, you're going to find that off at the right lane. 55 southbound at Germain. We've got a stall in a lane as well. And 70 eastbound at Ramp. 64 eastbound is blocked with long-term work. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hearing from you and telling us what you think is easier than ever. Open the Odyssey app to 97.1 FM Talk. Click on the microphone and leave Mark and Kim a message. It's that easy to share your take.
Hey, it's Mark Bearden from my friends at ThrottleNet, and you've probably heard George Rosenthal from ThrottleNet on the show. He's a technology whiz, and George and his team
reminder to put me in queue so I can play that video.
With technology.
Is that us now? Are you doing one?
Does your company have a luncheon room or guest speakers?
I still am coming up in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
About just letting you know.
To provide cybersecurity awareness
Please and
training.
thank you.
One click can cause a ton of damage to your business. ThrottleNet is determined to make sure that doesn't happen. And if it does, they're the cybersecurity experts
where am I
who
gonna
can
put
help. ThrottleNet is known for high customer satisfaction, averaging 99%.
You know what yours is called, Kim?
with over
Are you
35,000
News
surveys.
PC?
They have an industry
Oh yeah, I think it is
response
News
time of
PC.
less than 2 minutes. And no clients of ThrottleNet have ever paid ransom
Can we
as a
try it?
result of a cyber attack.
Yeah.
Contact ThrottleNet at throttlenet.com/971 and we can schedule your free company lunch. Don't miss out. Find out more today about
Well, it just depends. What provide for their woman? Well,
Okay, that's you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy. So we show them well. And we tell them with honest conversations to let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids,
Carl said to mute the mics on StreamYard, but they're all muted.
and never shared with friends or family.
Yours was not originally, but people, even after you
Right.
moved it, people have still said they can hear us.
Through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs.
All right, so you're playing your Kim on a Whim, right?
We hear everything.
No idea.
We don't know, but that's good. They're telling us.
Yeah.
And wait.
Here we go, Kim.
Cox Morning Show. Kim Auto Whim.
Here's a question specifically for all the guys out there. If you're in a relationship, especially if you're married, how do you think things should be split up financially? Would you be okay with 100% financially supporting your spouse? Is that how it should be? Do you think it should be 50-50? Because that's
really?
quite the debate, and there's a debate that's gone viral on TikTok, of course, but it is really sparking a lot of debate over how this should be split to couples.
I didn't know this was a debate. I mean, here's the deal. A long time ago, my wife graduated from Mizzou with a degree in journalism. She worked as a newspaper reporter for several local organizations. Lost her job here, moved to South Carolina, got a job there. That's where she and I met. I was working in television news. We got engaged. We got married. We moved back here. There was a hiring freeze on at the Post at the time. We decided we wanted to start a family. At that point, we made the decision that we were going to adjust our budget to live on one income because it was important to us that she stay home with the children. It was more important to us that she do that than us have to pay daycare and all. It was just a personal decision we made. It's not judging anybody who doesn't make that decision. So I don't know that. I've just never thought of that as a debate. It's either something you make a commitment to and you want to do, or you don't. Are there people out there who expect their spouse to pay all the bills?
Well, I don't know if it's all the bills, but quite a few bills.
Wow.
The video I was talking about that sparked this viral debate was somebody who went and asked American men this question, and then they asked the same question to Russian men. And I want to play this video, and I'll warn you, you hear obviously the American men talking, but then the Russian men, they're just speaking in Russian, and then you have captions. So I actually have to read it to you, but it's worth me playing. Listen. If it's my wife, this is the Russian guy. If it's my wife, then yes, because ultimately I'm responsible for her. If it's my wife, it's about family and children. She should be dedicating 100% of her time to raising them.
Wow.
Is that not what you hear more often than not is 50-50? I hear that from a lot of women. They want it 50-50. But what I find very interesting is, I'm not trying to pick on men, but let's just say some of these American men who want it to be 50-50. I feel like they say, I want you to also work. I want you to share the bills, all of the things, but also I'd like you to be the primary person raising the kids. I'd like you to be the person who's responsible for cleaning the house, all the things, but they still want you to be a 50-50 partner. And the same goes for women. Women say, 50-50, and I want to be an equal partner, but they want the man to be sacrificial and do all of these things for them. It just, in my opinion, does not work like that. I think there's been such a shift in our culture, and I would argue that it's the man's job. It's his duty and honor to be able to support the family financially. Look at me. Here I am working. I love this job. But my husband's the primary breadwinner, and I still care for our son the majority of the time, right? This job is amazing for many reasons, but one of the best parts of it is that it allows me to still be a mom most of the day. I can get him by, as early as I want. I still have him in the majority of the day.
Right.
I still do a lot of the housework. He, of course, helps, but it's primarily me because I have more of the day off. It's just funny to me when I hear this debate and people get so angry when you suggest that, it has to be 50-50, and then it's just.
I almost feel like
pendulum too far. I'll say it like that.
I almost feel like I'm so far removed from that debate that I don't even, I can't really wrap my brain around it. I mean, here's the thing. If you're in a relationship and both sides aren't giving 50-50, it may not be 50% of the money, but it's 50% of something, right? If you're not, if you make $1 million a year, it may not be necessary for your spouse to work, whether you're the male or the female making that amount of money. But what are they bringing to the relationship? Are they good about keeping the house clean? Do they make sure that they're paying the bills? Are they mowing the grass? I mean, you got to feel like it's a partnership, or what do you have? Do you have somebody sitting on the couch eating bonbons all day while you're out working? No.
Are bonbons still a thing?
I don't know, but I don't know, chocolate covered cherries, whatever. You can't do that. No relationship can exist like that.
Well, I I agree. Just because you're not working and just because I'm suggesting that the man, in my opinion, should be more than willing to support his wife financially,
Right.
100%, doesn't give the woman the excuse to be like, all right, babe, I'm going to go hang out at the pool all day. I'm going to do nothing. Like if you have that mindset, that's to me just laziness.
Well,
But
right.
So I think you're right. 50-50 can look different, but it doesn't certainly mean that you have to be splitting the bills, splitting everything.
It's about to me, it's pretty simple. Both sides commit to the partnership. It's a partnership, right? Whether it's a marriage or you're living together, it's a partnership. If you're in this thing together, this radio gig has been good to me. And television news paid my bills for a long time, and now I'm happy to get to do what I'm passionate about and get paid to do it. But if they decide at the end of this contract that they don't want me anymore, you may see me bagging your groceries at Costco. I mean, I'm a worker. I've worked since I was 14 years old at an amusement park. My mom used to have to take me and drop me off. So that's just ingrained in me. I don't know. I don't know who I don't know who those people are that's not ingrained in. You're out there working every day, whether you're lucky enough to get to do what you love like I do, or something you might hate, which is bagging groceries.
Well, there's obviously lazy people around the world in every country, but it does seem as though it's more pronounced in America. I mean,
Right.
Look at the difference in this video, which, by the way, can I just point out, I know you only heard it, you didn't get to see it, but they picked very like feminine-ish men. Okay, that was just weird for the American men.
Really?
It seemed like that.
Not masculine guys.
Like the Russian guys seemed like, ugh, and the American guys just didn't. And maybe that speaks to another issue that we have here in American culture.
Sounds like some Russian collusion you got going on there, Kim.
Yeah, that's exactly
What do you think,
what it
Ethan?
is. Ethan's
She's
laughing.
maybe our studio's been wiretapped by the Russians. That's why everybody can hear us during the commercials.
Sorry, everyone.
Something
possible.
definitely is going on.
Yeah.
Don't you think that that's just that it's our view on that separates us from a lot of other countries? That a lot of other countries wouldn't even think about that. Their mindset is you get married, the guy goes off to work and he's providing financially and the woman stays home. Again, I'm not saying
In a lot of places it is like that.
Marc
No.
on Facebook is saying everyone has to do what works. I get that. I think my point in all of this is to me it's interesting to see the difference in opinion from the Americans versus the Russians on whether you'd be willing to financially support, whether that's what you decide to choose or not to do or not. That's one thing. But the question being, do you think that's okay? And the American guys are like, no. She should provide for herself. 50-50. It has to be 50-50.
I don't know. I can't have a hard time relating to it. It's a sacrifice. If you decide.
Well, but your wife does stuff.
Oh, well, no, absolutely.
So-
But
so
I'm just
would
saying,
you
I'm
be
sure in terms of if you have to sacrifice and agree that you're going to bring in less money as a couple, if one of you decides to stay home and raise the kids at the end of the day, unless you're married to somebody who's making, $250 a year, you're going to have to sacrifice something. And for us, that sacrifice was it was easy. We wanted her influence over the children at home when they were young, before they went off to preschool or kindergarten. And then she went back to work after that for a while. So it's just the way it is. And now she works full time, but from home.
Mm-hmm.
So you make those things work.
Agreed.
You make it work. You make it work for you. But I don't think there's any pressure. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know. They talk about people who are deadbeats. Don't be a deadbeat.
There's plenty of deadbeats.
You shouldn't want to be taken care of. You should want to produce something.
Well, that's why we need to stop emasculating men and stop trying to act like they should be more feminine and it's okay that they cry all the time. Guys, if you want to cry, like I'm not saying that you can't ever cry, but if you're crying every day, that's a problem. Like you need to be men. You're the leaders. At least that's
Seek
my
help.
belief.
Listen to this woman. I'm telling you.
And maybe I'm being harsh, but it's time for the men to man up. It's time for the women to stop trying to do competition with the men of like, I can do anything better than it's that I feel like that's just blown up in society. And it's this constant battle between men and women on who's better and who can do this and who can do that. And women trying to prove to men that they're better and da-da-da-da-da. And it's exhausting. Women are incredible. We can do a lot of things. I'm not trying to diminish that. It's this competition, though, I think, is what's gotten out of hand.
Can we just reach the conclusion here that things have gone to hell in a handbasket? Because now we can't even define what is a woman. We have Supreme Court justices who don't know the answer to that. So how, it's all intersex now.
I'll tell you what, I really enjoy watching those Charlie Kirk videos on Instagram of him going to the college campuses and debating students, because one of the most common debates
it's
is
classic.
What is a woman? And they can't, it's whatever you want it to be. He's like, okay, well then can I be a giraffe? No. Well, why can't I be a giraffe if I feel like a giraffe that day? Why do you get to say you're a woman just because you put on a dress and you start taking hormone blockers? It doesn't work like that. And it's so funny because these people, I listen to them and I'm like, I want to know the inner workings of your brain and how you're justifying what you're saying, because it sounds like gobbledygook.
Kind of warped. It's kind of warped. It's pretty amazing. Interesting. It's an interesting conversation. It's just one I haven't thought of in a long time, but it's definitely still out there. There's no doubt about it. By the way, if you didn't hear yesterday them covering the story about what in the hell has happened to Joe Biden and why was the mainstream media acting like there was nothing going on? Who is going to, the test has been, who will be the first one to stand up and say, hey, by the way, the emperor has no clothes. Who was going to do that? Because we've been screaming it for 4.5 years. We'll be back in just a minute.
Bendable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Okay, I'm getting.
All right, can you guys still hear us? Someone comment on Facebook if you can still hear us talking during commercial breaks.
Right side, so there's something to look for. And we've got the 141 southbound at Ladue, a right lane taken out. This is the offshoot there to Ladue. Moving roadwork 70 westbound past 270 to look for. That's slowing you down just a touch. And 64 eastbound at Kings Highway, we've got emergency vehicles off to the right side as well.
Can you guys hear us?
Domestic litigation.
It's nice that Carl is awake considering they're driving to Florida. So, oh yes, they can hear us. All right.
Talk's morning show. Let's celebrate the fact that in just a few weeks we'll have a president in the White House who will actually say Merry Christmas instead of just Happy Holidays. So Merry Christmas and a happy new 4 years.
Steel holiday savings are here. Make
Still
room
here,
under the
yes.
tree for gifts at the top of their wish list. Power up the holidays with great deals on long-lasting tools. Find the perfect gift at your local Steel dealer or shop the Steel Holiday Gift Guide at SteelUSA.com.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. While we celebrate the reversal of Roe versus Wade, there is still much work to be done to support life and pregnant women.
Trisha thinks there was a glitch in StreamYard.
Do we need to close out
Is
of the
your
link?
StreamYard muted?
I'm muted. Do we need to close out of the link and go back in?
Maybe try that.
Coalition Life celebrates more than 3,500 clients served and thousands of lives saved.
Do you have to do that for me? I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
We're going
right,
to try
right.
like one at a time here to try to
Over the years, day in and day
eliminate
out,
what we're trying to do, but
alongside women facing
everything's
fear and
muted.
challenges of an unexpected crisis.
See the stream go
To
down for a
support
second.
this community, we have given them hope and a path to choose life for the children they carry. Visit
I just
I
don't
don't
know.
really need to type
coalition.com.
this because
Get
everyone
more
listening, you
vital
guys can
support
probably
while
hear me.
reducing
I just don't know how it's going to affect Rumble and
your
stuff.
state taxes through Missouri's 70% tax credit. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com.
Jules on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold,
Well, Trisha's
silver,
on.
diamonds,
Trisha.
semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on sale. Jules on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your
Not
jewelry
what she wants to be
into
doing
today's
at
contemporary
5:49
style.
and a Monday
They
or on a
also
Friday
do
morning.
jewelry and retroware. Need
30
extra
seconds.
cash? Jules on Hampton is paying some of
Mark,
the
are you
highest
wanting to play
prices
something?
on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones.
Yeah, probably.
Bring in your collectibles and
Kim, you closed out, right?
Oh, I'm sorry, no.
and figurines too.
So jump out of StreamYard?
Yeah, just go ahead and get out.
45
Trisha's saying to get out of the StreamYard.
Just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them
I would just take it all the way out, and then we'll come back to it.
5000.
Okay, I'm out.
Jules on Hampton.
You gotta end the stream though, right?
Right.
And then start it back up.
Yeah, if I close out, I think it ends everything.
This is still, yeah. This is
And then I have to reset up.
This is saying still live.
I think I have to reset up the Rumble podcast.
Catch any of the risks today by getting the show podcast at
Marc, your PC's live.
BTYB.com.
If you want to play something whenever you're ready.
To those of us on the conservative side of media, this is the most maddening story of the year to me. This is the most maddening story of the last 4 years. They knew it and they said nothing. Joe Biden has been a confused, blubbering mess for years. Even when he was running for president in 2020, he was a confused mess. They used expertly COVID to hide this mess by keeping him in the basement, by not letting him do one-on-one interviews. They were able to manipulate their minions in the mainstream media into covering up for this, all because Orange Man bad. They were willing to go to any lengths to find somebody that could beat Orange Man bad. And how they settle on Joe Biden, I have no idea.
No, he's Uncle Joe.
What?
He was the cool guy with Obama, who I feel like people really liked. He was the guy who would walk out with his aviator glasses on, kind of the guy who couldn't hurt a fly. I know there were other things going on. I'm just saying, I think that was, especially if you were on the left, I feel like that was the perception of Joe Biden at that time.
Yeah, but you know, we've talked to a number of people over the years who are White House correspondents, and we've asked that same question. A few people were willing to ask. The White House always deferred. They always made excuses. But it was so obvious to anybody who was watching. They wouldn't let him do news conferences. Donald Trump does an hour and a half answering any and all questions from everybody. They were clearly hiding this guy's oncoming dementia, and it's just a joke to claim they weren't. So finally, this Chris Cillizza, he worked for CNN up until 2022. He finally comes out on social media yesterday, 4 years later, 2 years after he left CNN, and admits after reading the Wall Street Journal report, pointing out all the ways they've tried to cover for him and how bad it really is. This is what he admits 4 years later. Go to cut 4. You think so, Chris? I'm a reporter. I should have asked more questions, but and here's his defense, but the White House said there was nothing to see here. And well, I just took their word for it. Go to cut 5. It took until the June 28th debate for this moron to realize that Joe Biden was a moron.
You know what makes me very upset thinking about is that his spouse, Jill Biden, allowed him to go take center stage, really on the international stage, and quite frankly, make a fool of himself.
It's elder abuse is what it
She
is.
knew this, and she allowed her husband to go do that. I'm not, ultimately, I guess he gets to make that decision. If he's sitting there saying, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, she can only tell him no so many times. But surely this debate was had prior to him taking that, even running for office.
I'm sorry, but you and I are in very public roles here. If at some point my wife needs to be the one to step up and say, all right, Mark, I was listening to you on the radio the other day. You've lost your marbles. It's time for us to call it, right? We're going to pull you off the radio. I would hope that she would stand up for me at a time when I couldn't and make that call. Jill Biden has failed that test miserably for her own personal gain. It's sad. It really is sad. Oh, boy. All right, coming up in the next hour, we'll talk to Jessica Rosenthal on what happens next with the big government shutdown. We'll be right back.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, we're good.
since September. Her remains were found at a park near a canal that connects Mallards Lake and Creve Coeur Lake. Maryland Heights police say the identification of Perrin is still considered tentative until the medical examiner's office has confirmed her identity. Employees with Procter & Gamble were forced to evacuate Thursday after a fire broke out at its warehouse off Interstate 70 near Graham Boulevard. Smoke could be seen for miles. Firefighters say no one works at that particular warehouse where the fire started, and it thankfully did not spread to the nearby building that is staffed. Employees were just evacuated as a precaution. It is still not clear what started the fire. We're at 6:04 and 32 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk. In sports, the Blues have lost 4 of their last 5 games after last night's 3-1 loss to the Lightning. Their Florida road trip continues tonight. They'll be playing the Florida Panthers at 6. The Chargers overcame an 11-point deficit in the second half to beat the Broncos last night, 34-27. And a big weekend for college basketball. The bragging rights game between Mizzou and Illinois is this Sunday. Tip-off is at noon. 32 degrees now at 6:05. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
We've got a pretty significant backup if you're headed on the westbound side of 44 because we've got a couple of right lanes taken out. Looks like about single file almost through that area. Before Grand on your westbound side is heavy from Jefferson to before Grand on 44 with that work going on in the 2 right lanes. You've got the ramp to 64 eastbound off of 70 eastbound. That's blocked with long-term work. And we also have a stall working. Watch this off to your right side, 270 northbound past Gravois. Some slight slowing in the area because of this. From the Cordell and Cordell Domestic Litigation Firm Traffic Cam, I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's a cold Friday across St. Louis, a mix of clouds and sunshine, some really chilly weather clouds in the sky. It's windy, 34. That is it for the high, so quite a bit cooler than yesterday. And the gusty winds, if you're caught out in them, it's going to be a little nippy. Tonight, some clouds around 25. Saturday, sunny and 37 degrees. Saturday night, clear and 25. And Sunday, sunny and 41. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
32 degrees now at 6:06. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show on 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere by downloading the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
Listen to both sides. The bottom line is, I respect that we don't agree.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Just to find a voice. Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
I don't know how to.
Him. Thank you, Carl, if you're listening this morning. Just kidding. We're glad you're with us. So we're glad Ethan is with us. We got Drew out there as well. Kim St. Anjan here with me this morning. Sue Thomas will be back next week, by the way. She's been enjoying a little honeymoon action, and she will be back on the air next week. We'll be here Monday, and I'll be here Monday and Friday. I have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday off in the middle of the week for the holiday next week. Kim St. Ange is bailing on us the entire week next week.
That's right.
What am I going to do Monday morning?
Well, first of all, did you just find out you have Tuesday and Thursday off?
No. No, I did not. I asked for it off.
Oh.
When I went and checked the calendar, I didn't see it in there. And I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe I started second guessing myself, thinking maybe I didn't request those days off. I was pretty sure I asked for those days off. but I didn't see it in the calendar.
That's like finding a $50 bill in your pocket that you didn't realize had been there for 5 months.
And then the lovely and talented Tricia sent out a email telling us what the schedule was for the holidays. And lo and behold, I was off Christmas Eve and the day after Christmas, which was just like a winning the lottery. It was fantastic.
I'm happy for really, that is great that you get to have that time with your family.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. But I will be here Monday, and Carl is off Monday. I don't know when he's back. Tuesday, when he's back? He's back Tuesday, really?
I think he's only off today and Monday.
He is working Christmas Eve then. So anyway, we'll get the gang back together here eventually. Hopefully you're having a good morning. We're on the precipice of Armageddon, in case you haven't tuned into the top of the hour news or the mainstream media this morning. The government might shut down. I really hate to be the one to bring that to you, but that's kind of the tone in which they're going after it. We've talked about it a little bit this morning. We're going to talk about it some more here in a couple of minutes, because we got Jessica Rosenthal, who's been covering the government shutdown for Fox News Radio. She's great. We're going to get her on here at about 20 after to talk a little bit more about this this morning. Nicole Murray at the bottom of the hour with the check of business. We'll get in other news at about 6:45 today. Kim's going to be handling that since Ethan is running the board. And then next hour, we'll delve a little more into the Joe Biden, where in the world is Joe Biden is the question, right? We've been asking these questions for a really long time, and it should have been obvious to everyone.
If you're concerned about Joe Biden's age, you probably don't know Joe Biden.
Biden is actually in good shape.
Right. Mentally, he's quite acute.
Any aide who engages with him or reporters, we can see this. The gears of his mind are working.
The right.
That's just a little clip of all the media covering for this for the past 4 years. And it's so obvious to everyone what's been going on. It finally took an investigative report by the Wall Street Journal to make all of America wake up and realize that Joe Biden is not really Joe Biden anymore. He left us a while back, and somebody else has been running the free world. It's a frightening turn of events, because it might have been Kamala. Wow. That should set you on your heels this morning. Hey, right now, I want to get to our top stories. Please, Ethan.
The Marc Cox Shortlist.
I don't think that Republicans, specifically the MAGA Republicans, really do care if they can't go to national parks over the course of the next couple weeks.
That's Todd Pyro. They got Todd Pyro out this morning on Maria Bartiromo's morning show, and they're asking him, what's going on here? Because all these Republicans gave lip service to supporting what Elon Musk wanted, but then when the rubber hits the road, where the hell are they?
If I were king for a day, I'm not, and I don't aspire to be. Here's what I'd do. First, I would tell everybody to take their meds.
Yeah. John Kennedy lecturing people on how to negotiate a spending bill. Well, it's pretty simple. You don't spend.
Even though this vote would push the debt limit to 2027, it in no way reflects any lack of enthusiasm on our part to get about those serious cuts for the American people. We have to have fiscal responsibility as a core principle of our party.
What's the line they used in the long Green Mile? The Green Mile, was it dead man walking? Wasn't that it? I think that's Mike Johnson. You just heard from there. Current Speaker of the House completely blew this deal. Had months to negotiate it. Gave the Democrats way more than he should have. In the face of MAGA, in the face of Doge, he basically surrendered.
It's time to get serious about illegal immigration. President Trump, Missouri will have dangerous illegal immigrants gift-wrapped and ready for deportation.
Here's the thing. You've heard Tom Homan yesterday. I played the bite with Caitlin College, where she's like, but seriously, Mr. Homan, I mean, I know you keep saying day one, but when will we really see any action on deporting any illegal aliens? On day one, says Tom Homan. Because Tom Homan is a bulldog, and he's serious about that. So who can't stand that, right? All of these people who want you to be a pansy-whamsy liberal, and they want to run out, and Channel 4's Capitol correspondent here, their bureau correspondent, is completely guilty of that. They did a piece yesterday on KMOV completely designed to tweak your emotions by finding the son of illegal aliens who happens to attend the University of Missouri and showing you what a smashing success he's having at the University of Missouri as an excuse for why his parents shouldn't be deported for breaking into our country illegally. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. I don't feel a bit of a, good for you. You're crushing it at the University of Missouri. I'm so happy for you. Channel 4 plays, I want to play part of this. We cut this clip for you. Go ahead and play cut 12 for the people here, please.
Martinez admits, though, he's benefiting from an opportunity his parents provided him when they cut legal corners.
My parents immigrated to the United States in around the late 1990s. Pause it.
Yeah, they broke in the late 1990s and then clearly had him as an anchor baby. Go ahead.
He just now got paperwork.
His parents will soon be able to travel between Mexico and the U.S. freely for the first time in Jonathan's life. Meanwhile,
it's time to get serious about illegal immigration. President Trump, Missouri will have dangerous illegal immigrants gift-wrapped and ready for deportation.
Some Missouri lawmakers, like St. Louis Senator-elect David Gregory, continue to imply immigrants are prone to commit crimes or present some kind of public threat.
If you submit an anonymous tip that leads to the arrest of an illegal immigrant, you'll be rewarded $1,000.
Senator-elect Gregory did not respond to our request for an interview today.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. You have to set David Gregory up as the big boogeyman here, and not the people, the millions of them, who've broken into our country illegally. And we had David Gregory on the show. He responded to our request for comment. He didn't say anything about all illegal aliens being criminals. He said we need to get rid of the criminal illegal aliens. Now, you could argue they're criminal if they broke into our country. Point being, this kid is not the example of who's going to be the first people deported, he and his parents. We might eventually get around to that. I would love to know the backstory of how they came here illegally in the 1990s and they've suddenly gotten legal paperwork. How did that happen? Because we don't have amnesty in this country. There's no such thing as amnesty in this country. If you're illegal, you're always illegal. And unless you go back to your home country and apply legally to come into this country and wait in line like everybody else. I hate it when the media tries to use emotion in these stories by finding one example and saying, oh, look at what you're doing to these poor people who broke into your country. This is awful. He's a star student at the University of Missouri. Good for him. He, believe it or not, until we changed the anchor baby thing, he's actually a citizen, but his parents aren't. I've lost all ability for empathy in this situation, and it pisses me off when the media tries to completely manipulate this situation.
They use
It's
emotion
sad.
because it's so effective. And
Right.
you can even tell in the reporter the way he emphasized some of those words.
Yes.
You can tell where he stands on that. When he was talking about David Gregory, he was saying something like, yeah, and he suggests that they're more prone.
Yeah.
You can tell he thinks that's garbage.
It's just crazy. Just one more example of it. I mean, I'm sorry. We're going to point it out when we see it. Call it the way we see it around here for sure. Coming up, we'll get to Jessica Rosenthal on the ticking deadline. That TikTok you hear in the back is not a ticking time bomb. It's the government getting ready to lock it up, baby. Shut it down. Turn the lights off. We'll get to Jessica Rosenthal after the break.
Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
We're down to one lane on 44 westbound. That's causing some big backups that take you out of downtown around Jefferson. You start to delay out to before Grand. That road work, it takes out all but that left lane getting through. So it is heavy through that area. Your eastbound side seems to be hanging in there and is okay. And we've got a couple of delays on 270 northbound, just past Gravelly. Watch for a stalled vehicle there. That's off to your right side. And 44 westbound before Grand. we've got that covered, and then we've got 270 northbound around Graboy again. Past that initial accident, there's another right shoulder taken out with some slowing through that area, as you can imagine. But otherwise, things are moving pretty decent from the Cordell and Cordell Domestic Litigation Firm Traffic Cam. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Want to listen to 97.1 outside the listening area? There's an app for that. Download the Odyssey app, and one tap will turn the station on. The Odyssey app for 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, it's St. Louis weight loss coach Charles D'Angelo. Listen to my client Alyssa talk about how she dropped 80 pounds with me in less than a year.
I had struggled with weight for quite some time and hadn't really acknowledged any of it. Actually ended up losing a pregnancy. Lost my daughter, went into labor about 16 weeks in, and it really kind of took a trajectory of really making it even harder for me to find time to take care of myself. Watching one of Charles's other clients, one of my friends, go through her journey, I was really inspired and was like, I'm ready. I can't lie. I wasn't sure what it was going to look like, but one of the things that we first talked about was we make a schedule of what it's going to take to take care of me and then make everything else in my life work around that. And that mindset shift completely changed the trajectory of where I am now. Being a mom, being a wife, being a business owner, all of those things were very important, and I didn't want to let anything else slide. With me being first, I'm able to give so much more of myself now, and in a healthy way, and I'm setting an example for my girls that is probably the biggest thing.
Schedule your free coaching consultation today at charlesdangelo.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Living in reality. The Marc Cox Morning Show. Follow the show on Facebook, facebook.com/The Marc Cox Show.
You're right, Ethan. You're right. Ethan says, I hate this Kiss song because it's Kiss disco.
It's the absolute worst.
You can see him out there doing the disco dance on the floor.
They said they wrote this as a disco song. It's terrible.
Yes. I would agree. Probably, I would assume, since everybody else has, we're going to have to transition to more Christmas music here. Maybe Monday. But in the meantime, we'll keep bringing you the rocking hits. How about that? Hey, let's talk about this shutdown for a minute. I just want to play again a little bit of what Chip Roy said last night. Go to cut 3, and then we'll get to our guest, all right?
When I got through cancer about 12 years ago, I made my promise to my kids that I would do everything I can to save this country. And what we're doing right now is to continue to double down on the things that are destroying the republic. We are going to increase the debt ceiling, not just $4 trillion, that's false. We have spent $4.7 trillion in additional debt in the last 19 months. We're going to increase the debt by $5 trillion.
All right, that is a Chip Roy, his impassioned plea on the floor before he voted against the second effort to prevent a government shutdown. We've got Jessica Rosenthal from Fox News Radio on the phone this morning. Jessica, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I love hearing all these reports about the countdown to midnight and, the government might shut down. It didn't sound to me, after listening to Chad Pergram and some of the other correspondents you guys have up on the Hill, that there might not even be another vote, right?
We'll see. You're right. There might not. And Chad was reporting that. Speaker Johnson, mostly because Speaker Johnson had said when point blank asked, will there be, he said, we're going to regroup and see about coming up with another solution. So stay tuned. So we'll see. Time is of the essence, right? I mean, every minute that ticks by. I mean, we're not even talking 24 hours here. So that doesn't necessarily mean, though, by the way, that they stop working. I mean, even if a shutdown begins, you don't have to let it continue. You can still come up with a solution even after it starts.
You hear a lot of the Congress members trying to scare the public into saying if we allow a shutdown, if the Republicans don't do this, then, people are going to be out of work around the holidays and all sorts of things. Set the record straight. I mean, when we've been asking other people this, what kind of an impact would this really have if the government shut down?
So it depends on how long, right? So if you will have furloughed workers, you will have people who are considered essential showing up to work and not getting a paycheck. Now, if that goes on for 30 days, that's a problem.
But then they get back pay is what I understand. I'm not saying it's great to not have a paycheck coming in, but my understanding is they would get back pay.
Of course. Okay. I mean, that would be absolutely criminal if people were expected to work without pay. I mean, you see lawsuits beyond, right. So that's no one is expecting these people to continue working forever without ever getting pay. But most Americans live paycheck to paycheck, unfortunately. So the situation becomes more dire as time goes on, right? So, and you do have reports from also like Congressional Budget Office that indicate that if it is prolonged, you do have impacts to like GDP. It does slow things down, right? When the government shuts down and things aren't working as efficiently. But to your point, like what's the impact? Like military still shows up for duty, thank God. Air traffic control still shows up. Most TSA workers still show up. Everybody's still, all these essential workers that we rely on are still going to be working. They're just not going to get a paycheck.
Yeah. Jessica, like you, I mean, we're observers of all media. I mean, I watch all kinds of feeds coming in here in the morning. It seems pretty obvious to me that for the Democrats in this case, the talking point is blame Elon Musk, because I heard Claire McCaskill and several other Democrats this morning just going, oh, well, Musk is the leader of the party. He's making Donald Trump feel small. I mean, they all want people to believe that Musk has taken over leadership of the Republicans.
Well, who put Elon Musk in charge of Doge?
I don't know. Well,
Donald Trump. So, right. Yeah, I mean, they can have that debate all they want. You're in charge of who's in charge of you. So the Republicans get to say who's in charge of them, and if that's President-elect Trump, no one elected Elon Musk, right? If anybody put him into power, it was Elon Musk saying, "Oh, I really like this guy. Can I please come to your rally and speak on your stage?" So yes, does he have an inordinate amount of power right now? I don't know. I can't answer that. But he did just do dozens and dozens of tweets that seem to have helped in derailing this CR. And he is in charge of this Department of Government Efficiency. There are a lot of Republicans who are saying it is Elon Musk's first, I guess, Doge effort that this seems to have been the first. Maybe you can put this in the Doge column.
Yeah.
I don't know yet if history will reflect that. But this is his whole thing is cuts.
Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News Radio. We appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Take care of yourself. Good to get her on here. Here's the thing. Chip Roy and these guys, I mean, don't make them out to be the bad guys. The ones that voted against this second round yesterday, they're doing the hard work here. They're like, we are not passing another debt limit increase unless we see some cuts. That's all we're asking for. The buck's got to stop somewhere at the end of the day. It's got to stop somewhere. All right, coming up, we'll get a check of business. Wall Street responded pretty well yesterday. We'll see what it does today. Stay tuned.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at lifemd.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
Should GLP-1 weight loss medication like Wegovy and Zepbound cost hundreds of dollars? We don't think so. TryLifeMD.com helps provide insurance access to the leading GLP-1 medications. Visit TryLifeMD.com and check your eligibility for GLP-1 medication with copays as low as $0. Listen to Tara's story after losing 42 pounds.
You just take your shot. It doesn't feel like you're on a diet. What I wasn't expecting it to do was to shut off the food noise. I'd gone from 237 to 195. This was life-altering, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
Get started right now and check your eligibility for GLP-1 medication with copays as low as $0 at TryLifeMD.com. That's TryLifeMD.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's a cold Friday across St. Louis, a mix of clouds and sunshine, some really chilly weather clouds in the sky. It's windy, 34. That is it for the high, so quite a bit cooler than yesterday. And the gusty winds, if you're caught out in them, it's going to be a little nippy. Tonight, some clouds around 25. Saturday, sunny and 37 degrees. Saturday night, clear and 25. And Sunday, sunny and 41. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
For 97.1 FM Talk, I'm Kim St. Ange. 32 degrees now, coming up on 6:31. A new fund has been set up to clean up eyesores in St. Louis City. Up to $350,000 funded through the American Rescue Plan can be used to repair windows, remove graffiti, and put security measures in place. $350,000 has been set aside for this fund. Businesses in St. Louis City can start applying for a portion of that money in February. Some new gruesome details have been released after a man turned himself in after admitting to killing his dad in Manchester. An autopsy found 75-year-old Edward Godey was stabbed 50 times, strangled, and had blunt force trauma to his head and back. Police found him dead Wednesday at a home in the 1000 block of Baxter Heights Court. His son, 41-year-old Jeffrey Godey, is now charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. In sports, Blues lost 3-1 last night to the Lightning. Their Florida road trip continues tonight, playing the Florida Panthers at 6. Chargers overcame an 11-point deficit in the second half to beat the Broncos last night 34-27. And bragging rights game, Mizzou, Illinois, Sunday at noon. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
And things are moving really slow if you're headed on the westbound side of 44 as you make your way out of the downtown area from Jefferson to before Grand. We've got road work leaving only one left lane open, so single file through that area. And then we've got a couple of situations at 44 eastbound stalled vehicle off to your right around 100. And we also have 170 southbound at Ladue. We've got that stalled vehicle taking out that most of that exit ramp there. And as you make your way on 270 northbound past Gravois, right shoulder and right lane partially taken out with another stall. 170 southbound, the ramp to westbound 64, a little heavy from an earlier crash. From the Cordell & Cordell domestic litigation firm Traffic Cam, I'm Trent Erickson with Traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
So I have the perfect way that you can start your Christmas morning, and that is when you pour your first cup of coffee that morning, grab some 5 Farms Irish cream and maybe add a little to it. There's a really cool reason why it's called 5 Farms. It's because there are 5 dairy farms in County Cork, Ireland that actually supply the milk for this cream liqueur. So every Friday, a tanker stops at the farms and collects the milk and then delivers it to a co-op. And then within 48 hours of it being collected, it's combined with premium Irish whiskey to become Irish cream. It's really this farm-to-table product, delicious. Five Farms Irish Cream was even awarded 97 points at the Ultimate Spirits Challenge. Guys, that's the highest ever awarded to an Irish cream liqueur. That's a big deal. Five Farms also contains more than 10 times the amount of Irish whiskey than any of the other Irish creams in the market. Actually, I know the women will probably care about this more than the men, but it comes in this really adorable bottle. So this would be great if you're going to a friend's house, a family member's house for a holiday party. Maybe you still need to get a gift for a coworker. This would be perfect. You can find Five Farms Irish Cream at Deerbrook, Schnucks, Dirt Cheap, Total Wine and More, Macadoodles, and Randall's. It is brought to you by our friends at Lore Wine and Spirits.
The countdown to Inauguration Day is on, and 97.1 is your transition team headquarters. Every day one executive action. It's all here. Trump's second term is coming soon on 97.1 FM Talk.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too, to help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose. Paid for by Bayer.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need the best. Onder Law, voted 2023's best law firm in St. Louis. We know how to handle the insurance companies, and we'll make sure you're compensated for physical, emotional, and financial injuries. Let us make your case our cause. Car accident? Call Onder Law today for a free review. 314 or 618-9-million. That's 314 or 618-9 all zeros.
I've got great news. We're back with more on the Marc Cox Morning Show. Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com.
I'm telling you, Joy, there's a train wreck coming in this Musk-Trump thing.
Claire Bear having a little meltdown there yesterday on MSNBC. So, yeah, she's out there. I'll play a little more of that for you coming up in a little while. She was on with the Joy Reid yesterday. They're all talking about Elon Musk. But you know, J.D. Vance was pretty clear on in his opinion who's to blame here. And if I'm a betting man, I'm betting the government shuts down tonight at about 12:01 a.m. and we'll see what happens. I think it'll stay shut until January 3rd. That's just my take on it at this point. I know Jessica Rosenthal and everybody who's covering it might have some different ideas on it, but I believe that's what's going to happen. Let's get to Nicole Murray, please. Nicole, how are you doing up there in New Jersey?
I am half present. I'm already in holiday mode. Barely even here right now.
Wow.
No, I'm good. Thank you. I'm jolly.
I get it. Well, I'm glad to hear that. But are you sporting your Marc Cox Morning Show shirt?
Not today because I opened it late last night, but thank you guys so much for the gift, the kind note, all of it.
Listen,
it means a lot.
It's not much. We all work in radio. We know the deal, but we just wanted to express our appreciation to you for your hard work, and we love having you as a member of the show.
Oh, I appreciate you guys so much.
Absolutely.
Even you, Mark.
Oh, thank you.
Even you. Just kidding.
Thank you, Nicole. We appreciate that. What's going on out there?
Okay, so futures are actually sharply lower right now ahead of key inflation data later this morning. Thursday, the Dow Industrials gained 15, the NASDAQ down 19, the S&P 500 down 5. Small Sliders, an Atlanta-based burger chain, is slated to open its first St. Louis location next week. In January, the Slider Company announced plans for 8 locations in the region as it focuses on national expansion. The latest St. Louis location will open on December 27th in Bridgeton. An independent grocery store in University City will permanently close at the end of the year. After 64 years of serving the St. Louis region, the rising cost of groceries and inflation has forced Pete's Sure Salve to shutter. Becca Sarando, store co-owner and daughter-in-law of Pete's founder, said profit margins have been low at Pete's for years. Investors are now preparing for the release of the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index. Analysts polled by Dow Jones expect the index to rise 0.2% on the month and show an annual reading of 2.5%. Data drops at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Retailer Big Lots said it will close all of its stores as hopes dim on a previously announced sale of the bankruptcy company to a California investment firm. Big Lots said as a result, it will begin going out of business sales at all of its stores. FedEx said the company can do well even if there is a supply chain shakeup. President-elect Donald Trump has threatened to drastically hike import tariffs for several countries, especially China, and these moves would likely disrupt global supply chains. FedEx reported mixed quarter results and announced its plans to spin off its freight business into another publicly traded company called FedEx Freight. And finally, in honor of the boozy holiday season, did you know that in Japan, drinking with clients or coworkers is considered part of your job? This is because it allegedly helps build relationships, foster teamwork, and demonstrates loyalty. Refusing a drink from the boss is even seen as an insult or can damage one's career.
Wow.
So what if you don't drink?
Your career's going to suffer.
You will drink whether you like it or not.
You're in the mail room is what happens if you're not willing to drink. You're stuck down there with Elf. Yeah.
I love that scene.
I know. That's fantastic.
I love that movie.
Think of how different that is in other cultures. We do that here. I mean, you go to happy hour, but not everybody participates. You don't feel, mostly you don't feel pressure to participate.
More and more people are not drinking. And there are some companies, though, where it's pretty common to have a happy hour once a week. Like they'll stock their little mini fridge at the office with alcohol.
Yeah, those are few and far between,
Probably.
I think. Don't you?
When I interned at Reuters in Belgium, I was studying abroad there in Brussels.
Yes.
Wow. And it was pretty common where we would go and take an hour lunch, sometimes more, and we would get beer. And their beer is strong there. You would go drink while you were on lunch and then come back and work.
I don't know. In the U.S., it feels like there's this weird in-between. Like you're supposed to go to the happy hour and partake and have a few drinks, but then you're that person if you overdo it.
Yeah. Then you get a reputation if you have like 5 glasses instead of 2, right?
I mean, I might later, but whatever.
Yeah, I agree with that. No, we've all worked in media for a long time. It's a little different than a normal corporate environment, I would have to say, right? The old company we worked for was the one, like Kim mentioned. Every Friday, they had a beer. They had beer stocked in the refrigerator. And they'd have a happy hour on Friday afternoon. Everybody could go back and sit around and have a beer and have a drink. And that's the only company I've ever worked for that did that.
I do agree that it does create a bit of camaraderie, teamwork, because if you know the people that you're working with on a more personal level, it almost makes you want to perform better in their honor.
Yeah, well, if you drink too much, you might start opening up about things you shouldn't be talking about, right?
Now we're getting back to the Christmas party problems, right? With the people who
indulging too
earn
much.
the reputation for partying too much and dancing on the table at the company Christmas party.
Listen, it only happened once.
We didn't want to tell you we were describing you, but
these days, it's all on video, though. Everybody's got a phone out.
That's the worst part.
When that happens.
I know. I saw that video of you dancing on a table, Mark.
You did not. That does not exist. If it did, it would be like a Polaroid shoved away in a drawer somewhere in my house that no one will ever see. Because
it would be like an oil painting.
That was a good one.
Listen to you two cackling over that. Not that old.
Could you hold still, sir? I need to finish your leg here.
We mean it with love if it matters.
I appreciate you. I really do. I do. Thank you. Nicole, are you working next week?
Not really. I think I'm only in on Friday.
Oh, really? All right. Well,
Yes.
you have a fantastic holiday, and we'll see you when you're back. I'm in Monday and Friday. Kim's taking the whole week off, too. She's slacking next week. So.
Ooh, enjoy your time off, everybody.
Thank
We
you.
will.
You too.
Thank you.
See
Bye,
ya.
guys. Happy
All right.
holidays.
You too. Nicole Murray there, live up in New Jersey this morning. Yeah, I sent her one of the shirts that you have on there this morning, Kim, so she can sport that when she's running around the office up there.
This one's a good shirt.
You did. My friend Richie over at Whiskey Dickerson did a really good job on that. I kind of special ordered those because you can order 97.1 T-shirts on the Whiskey Dickerson website, whiskey.dickerson.com. There's my standard Marc Cox Morning Show shirt. It sort of looks like the thin blue line flag there for our first responders, our police officers. It says the Marc Cox Morning Show on it. Those are, I will mention, the most popular shirts on the site. And then you can also order them from the other shows we have on the station here. I'm just kidding. I don't know whose shirts sell the most. I'm just kidding. But I did go to Richie a couple months ago and say, hey, I'd like to have a long sleeve version of that because in the winter, it's often cold in the studio and you're not as likely to wear a short sleeve shirt. So he came up with that for me and I appreciate that. They are good quality. I love the material and maybe someday if they're popular enough, we will print up enough that you could also buy those on the Whiskey Dickerson website.
I would suggest that because I'm telling you, I really like the material of this. I love a long sleeve t-shirt.
Just saying. It's comfortable. That's primarily what we're after around here. I did mention this a little bit earlier, but there was a debate yesterday on whether or not the thing that Kim and I saw along Highway 40 was a drone. Yesterday morning on the way in, we both noticed it. Something coming west on the 40 corridor up in the air with odd colored lights, in my opinion. I put the video up there on the Facebook page. When I tried to zoom in on it, it pixelated and you couldn't really see it. But I was convinced it was probably a helicopter. And thank you to I think it was Ryan who commented on that post. And he said it was an air evac medical helicopter because there's some website where you can track flight radar and you can tell what's in the air. So at that particular time of the morning, around 4:15 yesterday, he said that was a medical evac helicopter. So covered. So we did not see a drone yesterday in St. Louis. That doesn't mean there's not drones out there.
I'm not saying if you see a drone, it means that it's doing something sketchy.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just saying when I saw it, I was convinced it was a drone for many reasons, but fine, I will admit that I was wrong.
The power of suggestion. We all want to be the guy that sees the Chinese spy balloon, which I did, by the way. I was sitting in the Menards parking lot down there off Manchester Road, and sure enough, I look up in the sky, and there was the Chinese spy balloon looking down at me. I was waving at it, right? But it was way up there, and I guess it got shot down sometime after that.
Was St. Louis, this area, was this one of the last stops it had before it was shot down?
I don't.
I forget where it ended up
no,
getting.
No, it strikes me that they shot it down over water. I think
they definitely shot it down over water, but I don't know. I don't remember.
So I think they waited for it to exit
which
the
body
country
of water
down near the Carolinas somewhere, and that's where they shot it down and recovered
right.
it. I think is how that went down. Not that Joe Biden would remember. He's kind of checked out a long time ago. That report yesterday even said that he didn't he was usually having daily or pretty regular conferences with the Secretary of Defense and stuff like that, and they finally just stopped calling because every time they call, he wasn't fit for a meeting. This is a leader of the free world. This is a guy with the nuclear codes, football. I mean, come on.
Isn't it so reassuring knowing that other countries would watch the President of the United States fall, stumble?
Well, we might have been in denial about it, but you can bet your bottom dollar China and Russia weren't in denial about it. They knew exactly what was going on with this guy.
Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow. By the way, it did get shot down over off the coast of South Carolina, and the balloon's height, they say, was comparable to the Statue of Liberty. I don't remember that.
All? Oh, you mean
that's
in
all?
terms
That's
of size?
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they were saying these drones in New Jersey are the size of SUVs. Nothing to see here, guys.
Yep.
They're just stars.
Just ignore it. I'm sure it's reporting home to the mothership, wherever that is. All right, coming up, we'll get to another news. Next hour, Madeline Rivera is going to join us to talk more about that Biden question. Why did it take a New York Post a Wall Street Journal report to finally get everybody in the media talking about this? I don't know. We got that coming up for you at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, we're getting a little better on 44 on your westbound side, but it's still pretty heavy from Jefferson to past Grand. We've got a roadwork situation leaving only a left lane open, so it's a bit heavy through that area. We've got the ramp from 70 eastbound to 64 eastbound also blocked. That's for long-term work. A stall on 44 eastbound around right before Elm has you slowing in that area. It's off to your right. 70 eastbound before West Florissant. We've got a right shoulder closed with another stalled vehicle, and then watch for emergency vehicles. If you're 70 westbound, this is before Tucker. And you're going to find that with right lane taken out in that area at least. We've had all lanes taken out for momentarily. Now we've got just a right lane taken out. This traffic is sponsored by GHR Contracting from the Cordell & Cordell Domestic Litigation Firm Traffic Cam. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Not many window companies do egress windows. Those are the ones used in basements or floors with no emergency exit. GHRcontracting.com. We offer same-day install and financing 0% for 18 months, and there's no hassle with price negotiation. Get an upfront quote on the phone. GHRcontracting.com.
The Annie Fry Show.
Donald Trump gets back in. He almost has a humbled approach. It's just different.
I mean, he's not turned into Pilot Fettuccine by any sense. He's still a strong guy. But I do think he's been a little more calm, a little more relaxed.
The Annie Fry Show. Weekdays from noon to 3.
Hey, it's St. Louis's weight loss coach, Charles D'Angelo. Have you tried everything with weight loss and feel like nothing works? Listen to my client, Eric, a local father who was at the end of his rope. He couldn't participate with his kids as much as he wanted, and he had 100+ pounds to lose. Listen to how I helped him drop that weight and get his life back on track.
Really, the deciding factor was we went on a family trip to Universal Studios, and I was unable to physically fit in some of the rides with my kids, and it was so disappointing to not be able to participate with my family on a fun thing like that, and that was really the last straw that I knew I needed to make some changes, and reached out to Charles. Charles has given me a lot of tools. We've worked through the program. I just feel confident, and I just love living every day now.
Let me help you make your dream a reality like Eric has. You'll find out exactly what to do with food and exercise to make it happen. Schedule your free coaching consultation today at charlesdangelo.com. That's charlesdangelo.com.
This holiday season, save $30 on the GTA 26 handheld garden pruner. Now just $149.99. Visit your local Steel dealer today or shop online at steelusa.com. Offer valid for a limited time. Only at participating dealers while supplies last.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
The TR Hughes Homes for the Holidays display and inventory sale is going on now through the rest of the year. Move-in ready, up to $50,000 in savings just in time for the holidays. Visit trhughes.com for details. That's trhughes.com.
If he were a baseball player, he'd be batting 1,000. The Marc Cox Morning Show. Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com.
What's happening?
Go, you know the thing.
What the hell is going on?
In other news.
If you think it's been harder to open water bottles or milk cartons lately, you're not crazy. So beverage caps on these milk cartons, soda, water bottles have become harder to open as manufacturers have shortened them to reduce plastic usage, lower production costs, and here we go, decrease their carbon footprint. These lightweighting efforts to save material and shipping energy make the caps less grippable, which obviously is very frustrating. Listen to this. Caps on milk cartons, for example, shrank from 21 millimeters to 17 millimeters, reducing the grip and requiring more effort to open.
So the mouth of the milk carton is smaller? How did they reduce this?
I'm
if
sorry,
they didn't reduce
the mouth
that
of the milk carton?
Right, like the top of it. The mouth,
I
the
know
top
what you're
of it.
talking about, just to call
Is
it
it
the
smaller?
mouth.
I mean, if they made the cap smaller, they had to make the
have.
opening smaller, right? How does that save them anything?
That is 100% true, though. If you ever tried to open up like heavy cream lately, you can't get it. Like in the old little school milk cartons.
Yeah, where you have to pry them open.
Yeah, and you got to like bend it now to try to get the cap off. The cap doesn't fit.
Maybe you're just getting older.
Oh, shots fired here. It's okay. I just told Mark there was an oil painting of him.
They're making ageist comments this morning, Ethan. I think they're both honest.
They haters.
Don't you?
He came in swinging.
Oil
My
paintings
goodness.
and too weak to open a milk carton. Dang.
Moving on,
Yes.
you'll like this if you've not gotten around to doing your yard work yet. It's okay. Experts actually recommend leaving those fallen leaves on your lawn rather than raking them. Yeah, they say
Perfect.
It benefits the ecosystem. The leaves provide insulation for pollinators and other small organisms. They say that decomposing leaves also enrich the soil, so it's better, they say, just leave them in place, compost them, or mulch them to be used in the flower beds.
Well, I could see mulching them. Often what I've done, if it's not a foot deep, is mulch it and just let the particles drop down into the grass, right? It'll turn into soil eventually. But you can't. I mean, you're going to get some pissed off neighbors. Let's just face it. If you leave your yard full of leaves all the time.
Well, unless you have a fence and they can't see it.
Some people will take that to the extreme. You know they will. Well, I just saw a report that you should leave those laying there.
Yeah.
Your homeowners association is going to be knocking on your door.
You guys are welcome.
I'm telling you.
Don't come complaining to me, though.
Yep.
Bears breaking into homes or cars looking for food. It's not uncommon in California, but there's this video of one incident that was sent to insurance companies that just didn't seem quite right. Officials discovered it was actually someone dressed in a bear costume recording themselves destroying luxury cars. 4 people ended up getting arrested, accused of defrauding 3 insurance companies out of nearly $142,000 by claiming this bear caused damage to their cars. They ended up searching one of the suspects' homes and did, in fact, find the bear costume.
Like you couldn't tell that the bear was very good at opening doors and closing doors.
Bears do open doors.
I know that.
Yeah.
So my wife was having lunch with somebody the other day, and she shared a video with him. My wife shared it with me. They were in Gatlinburg a while back, and they came out the next morning. And I've got one of those bed covers on my truck that you have to lower the back of the bed and then lock it. It locks inside of the truck. And it's a hard cover, right? Basically, it folds. It's a trifold cover. They came out one morning, and it had been ripped off the back of their truck.
Oh, wow.
And some people said, "Oh, you're the owners of that truck. Look at this video we recorded." It was a black bear in the middle of the night. The guy had been deer hunting at some point, had a deer in there. He didn't have it in there anymore, but there was still the scent, apparently. The bear, you can see it using its paws to rip this thing open, and then it climbs in the back of the truck. These things are incredibly smart and strong.
Yeah.
Not the suspect who was stupid enough to dress up like a bear.
No, not that one. The real thing.
I wonder if the bear was the suspect was on all fours the whole time, or if they just did 2 feet. I don't know.
I would love to see that video. I wish they would release it. All right, a new Gallup poll reveals a growing trend that's been dubbed the Great Detachment, with 51% of workers seeking new jobs and only 8% say they're extremely satisfied with their current roles. Worker satisfaction has hit a record low, and job seeking is at its highest rate since 2015. They say key factors with all this dissatisfaction include massive turnover, hybrid and remote work that's been impacting employee connection, misaligned expectations, and changing customer demands.
Can you use that line with your boss? Boss, I think you have misaligned expectations of me. Right? I'm not doing a bad job. You just haven't aligned your expectations with what I'm about to provide you. See, that's how it works.
My expectations for myself are much lower, so you should also lower yours.
Where's Steve Moore when we need him? Yeah,
that's interesting because you can choose your own job for the most part.
Yeah, but people don't realize that. They get in the job and then they just complain forever but do nothing to change their circumstances.
That's true.
A very quick one. A survey by Empower reveals that Americans associate financial success with an average salary of $270,000 per year with a net worth of $5.3 million. Varies by generation. Gen Z, $587,000. Millennials think success is $180,000. Gen X, $212,000. And boomers, $99,000.
Wow. $99,000 doesn't go as far as it used to, but who thinks they're going to make $500,000 a year?
I am not successful.
That's incredible. I mean, that may be misaligning your goals there. Well, it should be your goal, misaligning reality. How about that? Coming up, we'll talk more about where in the world Joe Biden's been the last 4 years.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25-plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
If you A legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Selling your home? Every situation is unique. Find the best options that are right for you from the real estate team who offer more options. My friends Marc and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out the only agents I trust. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning diamond pendant, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect gemstone piece or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Trying to prevent a government shutdown after midnight. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
We're expecting votes this morning, so you'll stay tuned. We got a plan.
That's House Speaker Mike Johnson a short time ago, the day after the House, with 38 Republicans joining Democrats, rejected the spending plan President-elect Trump supported after the bipartisan funding bill he opposed got scrapped. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries says
extreme MAGA Republicans are driving us to a government shutdown.
But Fox's Aisha Hasni reports from the Capitol.
I am being told by a source that they have worked out a temporary solution to keep the government open. And then I was told by another lawmaker that this vote could come as early as 10 this morning.
That's in 2 hours. President Biden wiping out more student loan debt with an order this morning for another 55,000 Americans.
President Biden has relied on the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program to wipe away $78 billion in loans for borrowers who work in education, public health, law enforcement, and emergency response. In total, the administration has canceled the debt of almost 5 million Americans, totaling $180 billion.
Fox's Jared Halpern. Luigi Mangione behind bars in New York City now, facing state and federal murder charges in the killing of United Healthcare's CEO.
Mangione appeared in federal court yesterday. The judge ordered he be detained, though federal prosecutors say the state case would have priority for now.
Fox's Chanley Painter also reports the federal complaint filed has more details on Mangione's writings.
In an entry marked as August 5th, the notebook described how the details are finally coming together, and I'm glad in a way that I procrastinated because it allowed me to learn more about United Healthcare.
The FAA has some temporary drone flight bans in parts of New York now, the day after similar restrictions in much of New Jersey, where most of the recent mystery drone sightings have taken place. America's listening to Fox News.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AB.
Good morning. Hope you're having a great Friday. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. If you're just leaving the house now at 7:03, you are waking up to 32 degrees. 4 St. Louis County Council members are suing County Executive Sam Page, asking the state court not to allow him to choose Wesley Bell's replacement without their approval. A judge, though, still has to decide whether Page even has the power to pick the next prosecuting attorney, or if that's up to Governor Mike Parson. The 4 council members suing, Shalonda Webb, Rita Days, Marc Harder, and Dennis Hancock, argue the county charter gives them the authority to reject Page's pick. Skeletal remains found earlier this week near Creve Coeur Lake have been identified as a South City woman who'd been reported missing for months. That woman, 53-year-old Tammy Perrin, had been missing since September. Her remains were found at a park near a canal that connects Mallards Lake and Creve Coeur Lake. Maryland Heights police say the identification of Perrin is still considered tentative until the medical examiner's office has confirmed her identity. Employees with Procter & Gamble were forced to evacuate Thursday after a fire broke out at its warehouse off Interstate 70 near Graham Boulevard. Smoke from that fire could be seen for miles. Firefighters say, though, no one worked at the warehouse where the fire started, and thankfully it did not spread to the nearby building that is staffed, so employees just evacuated as a precaution. It's still not clear, though, what caused the fire. It's 7:04 and 32 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk. In sports, the Blues have lost 4 of their last 5 games after last night's 3-1 loss to the Lightning. Their Florida road trip continues tonight. They'll be playing the Florida Panthers at 6. The Chargers overcame an 11-point deficit in the second half to beat the Broncos last night, 34-27. And this is a big weekend for college basketball. The bragging rights game between Mizzou and Illinois is Sunday. Tip-off is at noon. It is 7:05 and 32 degrees. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, we're seeing delays if you're headed 270 northbound from Manchester up to 64 in a stall. It's taking out the ramp from 64 eastbound to 270 northbound in that same area. And we've got 170 southbound at Forest Park Parkway. We've got an incident. We're not sure what it is, but it's taking out a right lane at least in that area. 64 eastbound, 270 northbound. We've got that. And then we've got 170 southbound. You're seeing some delays as you make your way closer to 64, but 64 remains in decent shape. So does 55. 44 is in great shape. 270 not bad except for one northbound delay. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's a cold Friday across St. Louis, a mix of clouds and sunshine, some really chilly weather clouds in the sky. It's windy, 34. That is it for the high, so quite a bit cooler than yesterday. And the gusty winds, if you're caught out in them, it's going to be a little nippy. Tonight, some clouds around 25. Saturday, sunny and 37 degrees. Saturday night, clear and 25. And Sunday, sunny and 41. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
7:06 and 32 degrees. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show on 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere by downloading the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
I want to compliment your show on how fair and level-headed everything you guys talk about.
Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
Maybe what we need from a conservative standpoint is
the Marc Cox Morning Show.
I respect that. We don't agree. Listen to both sides.
This,
let's get it on,
is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
As a reporter, I have a confession to make. I should have pushed harder earlier for more information about Joe Biden's mental and physical well-being and any signs of decline.
Yeah, you think? That was Chris Cillizza. He used to work for CNN and went to social media yesterday. But it took a report, an investigative report by the Wall Street Journal to finally get him to admit that, I don't know, maybe like 4 years ago, he should have started asking a few more questions about Joe Biden's mental faculties. And he just didn't do that. He admitted that. It's one of the big stories that broke yesterday, even with all this government's funding thing going on in the background. A lot of people are talking about this. We've got Madeline Rivera's live for Fox News this morning talking about it as well near the White House. Madeline, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Mike. Good to be with you.
Yeah, thank you for giving me a few minutes this morning. We appreciate that. We really do. So what has the White House response been, if anything, to this report by the Washington, who put it out, the
Wall Street Journal?
Wall Street Journal, yeah. Well, you've got White House spokesman Andrew Bates, who's really pushing back on all the characterizations that the Wall Street Journal made of the president in this article. And sorry about that. You can hear sirens because I'm outside right now, outside of the White House. But you've got Andrew Bates pushing back on all of these descriptions of the president. He said that the president remains engaged, has been engaged throughout his entire time in office. He says that he had regular meetings with his cabinet secretaries, daily meetings with members of his cabinet. That is That is not what the Wall Street Journal reported in their article. They're saying that the president, even in his early time in office, as early as a few months into his presidency, it began to become clear that his age was wearing down on him. He would have good days and bad days, and in some cases, meetings would be scrapped altogether if he had an off day. The Wall Street Journal also reporting that the president met very infrequently with members of his cabinet. So, that is all pretty damning for the president, and the White House is very much aggressively pushing back on this. And it's a hard sell when we've seen how the president has acted really over the last course of the 6 months.
I mean, where do you think this goes from here? Because aside from us just being angry that it's officially come out that yes, they knew from pretty much day one that he was not up to the job. I mean, what happens from here?
Well, the president is leaving the office in a largely diminished role, right? And I think we kind of see that now with, especially in light of the government shutdown, with President-elect Trump dictating what House Republicans should do. It seems that President-elect Trump has really become the focal point of the conversation nowadays. So when it comes to what the president will face, political consequences, not much really. Again, he's not going to have a second term. He will largely retreat to private life. He maintains that he's going to stay involved. To what extent, we just don't know. Guys?
Yeah, Madeline, I've wondered about this. If you go back to like the Watergate investigation, the big question coming out of that was, what did they know and when did they know it? And it almost strikes me that somebody's got to ask that question because it's important. It should be important to the American people to know at what point in the past 4 years did Joe Biden reach the point where he couldn't hold meetings with his defense secretary anymore? I mean, this is the leader of the free world, and we still don't have a clear answer to that, do we?
No, and I think we'll see a lot of that hashed out in the books that will be coming out after his presidency. There's been such a drip of information over the last 6 months, ever since his debate in Atlanta at the end of June. So there's a lot that still needs to be seen. But also, I've been covering President Biden even as an embed back in 2020, 2019, and he's always had a pretty tight-knit group of people around him. They like to keep him away a lot of times. There's pretty much a very much controlled environment around him, I should say. And it's maintained that way all up until the end of his presidency. We see that.
That is absolutely the truth. Well, Madeline Rivera, we appreciate your time. We'll be watching for your reports from the White House this morning. Thank you.
You got it, of course.
All right, thank you. Yeah, good to get her on here. Of course, the White House is going to say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
But I mean, shouldn't somebody I don't know what this would look like, but shouldn't somebody be held accountable for the cover-up? Because at some point that becomes a national security threat. I don't know what that would look like. And that was kind of what I was getting at with Madeline was, where do we go from here? We know that Biden's on the way out. I don't even care about that per se, as long as we can safely get to the end of his term. What I care about is what happens to all the people who knowingly lied to the American public time and again, including Kamala Harris, saying he's fine, he's up to the job, nothing to see here. And we know that was just a blatant lie.
The damage is reputational, right, to the U.S. But I don't know how you make that a legal question. I don't know. I mean, I think somebody needs to. I think we need to identify the people that allowed it to happen. The one at the top of that list is Dr. Jill Biden. Mm-hmm. She lives with the guy every day. She knew darn good and well what was going on with him. And Kamala and his chief of staff and his entire cabinet. All of these people that knew, they were effectively, each cabinet member was effectively the president in charge of their particular department because the president was not engaged. And it's pretty obvious Kamala Harris might have been able to step up and fill that void, but she's an empty vessel herself. So there was nobody up there able to make hard decisions. And Joe Biden likes to brag about the fact that he made the final call on Afghanistan. Well, isn't it now pretty obvious? That was a horrible call. And it went against, if you listen to it, the advice of his top generals. So he was still making some decisions, which is even more frightening. The people you need to be pissed off at are the people at the top of the Democratic Party, because they were so desperate to hold on to the power of that office. Jill Biden, the head of the Democratic Party, Chuck Schumer, they all knew. All of them knew it. Nancy Pelosi knew it. Hakeem Jeffries knew it. They all knew it, but they would not. They were more worried about their power than they were about the fact that this guy had no business being president of the United States.
But how quickly they'll turn on him. I mean, think about how key of a role Nancy Pelosi played in Biden eventually stepping down after that disaster of a debate with Trump. So she was probably the main one spearheading efforts to, cover up, tell everyone he's fine and reassure them. And then as soon as you had some of these we saw the debate, but then remember Clooney. It was George Clooney who initially came out and said he supported him. And then once more, that's usually how it works, right? You have to have one brave person who's willing to speak out and get a lot of pushback. And then it's kind of like the Diddy thing. And then once one person comes out, then you're like, oh, you know what? Actually, on second thought, George Clooney says, I did notice there were some things that just weren't quite right when I saw him there, but that was not his story initially.
Maybe maybe holding that early debate was an exit strategy for some of those people, because they're like, if we finally let him get out in public, everybody will see it, and there will be pressure to remove him, and then we can just slide Kamala in there and hope she gets it done. I'm sorry, Kamala.
I have thought that too, but it doesn't seem like there was a good plan in place. No. You'd think if that was their plan months prior, that they would have had, all right, we're ready to go. Something. This is plan B. Yeah. We're going to put this into action. But they were scrambling, and then the best they could come up with, because people would have been mad if they didn't have Kamala as the pick, that it just seemed like they were like, well, I guess we kind of have to put Kamala in his place.
It's the truth. Jeff is calling in on line one. Jeff, what's your thought on this?
Well, I know that Christopher Wray, under oath, I think, in some sort of a committee hearing, stated that he didn't recognize that Joe Biden was mentally declined.
Yeah, but what do you do with that?
Yeah, and this came after the Ben-Hur proclamation that he wasn't fit to go be on trial.
So in other words, somebody under oath said it, and there may be criminal repercussions because of that. Is that what you're saying? If somebody said it under oath?
There ought to be. If it was so obvious to all these people now, on the back end that, the guy couldn't do the job. He wasn't meeting with anybody. He was just a figure. And Christopher Wray, there's no way that he can, honestly claim he didn't recognize what was going on.
I would agree with that completely. But Jeff, I appreciate the phone call. They're all good questions. I just don't know. I don't know where the criminal charges would stem from, unless it was something like that. Maybe that's part of where it is. We'll see if they go down that alley or not. I don't know. Coming up, we're going to talk about, we talked a little bit about with our business folks the other day, the mortgage rates, what happens, what impacts it have on the housing market, for example. We're going to check in with Jennifer Yu coming up here in just a couple of minutes. She is the founder of a real estate company. She's been watching this situation nationwide, and I'm going to get her thoughts on it when we come back. Stay tuned.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, watch for some slowing northbound at 270, Manchester to 64. We have a ramp situation on 64 westbound coming off that to northbound 270. A stalled vehicle taking out most of that ramp. 55, both sides between Arsenal and Lindbergh. Watch for on and off delays through the long-term work in the area, blocking the ramps and lanes. We've got a ramp from 70 eastbound and 64 eastbound blocked with long-term work as well. From the Cordell and Cordell Domestic Litigation Firm Traffic Cam, I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Odyssey is your home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today to listen to 97.1 FM Talk, even when you don't have a radio. Always streaming at 971talk.com.
Hey, it's St. Louis's weight loss coach, Charles D'Angelo. Listen to my client Elise, a first-time mom, talk about how she's dropped a whopping 55 pounds in just a few months of working with me.
When I came to work with Charles, I was about 1 year postpartum, and a lot of new truths for me as a mom. One of the things that I personally was struggling with was prioritizing myself, my own health, my diet, my exercise, and just reached a point to realize I need to change and kind of had to make the difficult decision that I'm not going to be able to do this on my own. I need help. Started working with Charles. He's great about getting you in these habits. Basically, my weight now is like where I was in high school. I wore a dress recently that was one I had from high school, which was just a crazy concept being in my mid-30s. That was something for me that was exciting. It has been possible, and it's been an incredibly empowering experience.
Schedule your free coaching consultation today at charlesdangelo.com. That's charlesdangelo.com.
Here's another great reason to use the United States Postal Service this season. When sending a package, why venture outside? Ship with USPS for a true holiday ride. Want to stay cozy and warm? There's no need to roam. With free package pickup and labels printed from home. We have over 600,000 employees always in motion. And before you know it, your gift has delivered emotion. Spread the holiday joy this season with USPS's enhanced network. Learn more at USPS.com/holidayride.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
The T.R. Hughes Homes for the Holidays display and inventory sale is going on now through the rest of the year. Hi, I'm Jason Hughes with T.R. Hughes Homes, and we have several quick move homes ready for immediate move-in. Save up to $50,000 on a brand new move-in ready home in one of our 4 beautiful communities. Come see why T.R. Hughes is St. Charles and now Warren County's premier home builder. Move-in ready, up to $50,000 in savings just in time for the holidays. Visit trhughes.com for details. That's trhughes.com.
Smashing his guitar at the end of every segment. Marc Cox. Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com.
I should let this play out for just a second here because Kim St. Ange just said, "What song is this?
Please
what
don't
are you
let
playing?"
it play out.
Wait. It's called Hot for Teacher by Van Halen.
It
Come
just
on.
gets worse.
It's one of the greatest openings
It's one
ever.
of the greatest music videos to ever play on MTV when they used to have
TRL?
No, when they used to have videos. Yeah.
That was
anyway.
what I grew up with TRL.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, you've distracted me now. You said, God, what is this? This is awful. I'm sorry.
My
That's what's
eardrums
one of the
hurt.
great, like Alex Van Halen just killed that intro. I just have to tell you that. Anyway, sorry, I'm distracted by the whole thing. So what we were talking about a minute ago was interest rates. Obviously, the Fed cut rates again. Many people are like, well, if they're going to cut rates, then then mortgage rates should drop, and that should help the real estate business. What's going on out there? Right now, we want to welcome in Jennifer Yo. She is the owner and founder of Presidio Real Estate, and she's a part of a new Bravo reality show based out in Salt Lake City, Utah. And it's good to have her on this morning. Jennifer, welcome in.
Hi, good morning.
So what's your take? I mean, obviously, I get the business people on here from TV all the time talking about these rate cuts, and what we do know is that a quarter point cut in the federal rate doesn't automatically turn into a mortgage rate drop, right?
Correct, and that's what people tend to expect, and unfortunately, it made our mortgage rates go up this time. So the Mortgage News Daily just reported 7.14%. At the end of the year, this is frustrating for consumers. We have, going into first quarter, we've been told over and over again that first quarter we would have lower interest rates, and here we start high.
Yeah, I don't know where it ends. I bought a house last year, and we really kind of hoped that maybe 5 or 6 months out we could go ahead and just let's refinance it and get a cheaper mortgage, and that's not a reality right now. Do you see that coming in 2025 at all?
Again, we've been told over and over again that we will see cuts, but we're just not seeing them. In September, they were at 6.11, and now being at 7.14, we're looking at $200 on an average sell, about $200 more in a mortgage payment every month.
Yeah.
And that's just not the reprieve that consumers were looking for.
Well, I'm just curious, though, regardless of what happens with the rates next year, I'm curious if you think more people will feel more confident. They feel like under a Trump presidency that he'll get inflation under control, or at least better than it is right now, and that with taxes that they'll be in a better position financially so that they'll still feel like they can buy a home when they normally wouldn't because of rates.
That has been what everyone has expected. Here we have a president coming into our country that is a real estate developer, a real estate guy, and he is a business guy. And so here we're thinking we'll get some rate cuts, the real estate market will get better. And so there is a little bit of hope for that. Right now, it's just not showing it.
Yeah.
We're seeing, yeah.
No, I did. I just wondered. I want to ask you a little bit about the reality TV show that you're doing. Is this high drama? Is it? I have a lot of friends who are real estate agents who talk about some of the things they see that they'll say to me, you have no idea what we put up with in real estate sometimes. What are you doing in your new Bravo show?
There's a lot of drama. Last night's episode was explosive. If you haven't watched it, I've been doing real estate 18 years. Every transaction, there's drama. The parents tell your buyer in the last minute, don't buy this home. There's all sorts of crazy things that happen. And so you get to see it played out with a great cast. It's got great stories, and Bravo does a great job putting together a very exciting show.
I don't know if you're able to answer this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Like, how much of that drama is the producers who were like, hey, so-and-so said this about you, and I want you to talk about it. Come in this room and discuss it and rile them up.
I would say there's a lot of that. And what's crazy is it's actually real, but they do rile you up. They say, well, he said it like this. How do you feel? So they get you riled up for sure.
Wow. Well, Jennifer, it sounds like you're going through with your voice the same thing I've been going through the past 2 weeks. You poor thing. I hope you feel better, man. That's rough. They ended up diagnosing me with bronchitis about 3 or 4 days ago, and finally got on some antibiotics for it. So.
Okay, good. I'm glad you feel better.
Yeah, I hope you do too. Jennifer, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you so much.
All right. Yep. Take care of yourself. Boy, I've been there. I know how she feels. Because I know she doesn't normally sound like that. I have not watched a full episode of that show, but I have seen a clip of it. So,
big Bravo fan?
I'm not a big. I don't gravitate to those sort of programs, but I did watch a clip of that since I knew I was going to have her on here earlier, and I know her voice doesn't normally sound like that.
Well, it's like the show Selling Sunset, I think it's called. That really took off. That's based out of L.A. I know this show's out of Utah.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of drama with that show.
I have at the gym working out or something. the bank of monitors. I have found myself drawn to those ones where they're taking they're taking couples around to 3 or 4 different houses and
House
talking
Hunters?
about. Is that it? Yeah,
I like that show. But I'm sorry to interrupt you. I've heard that 2 of the homes typically aren't even on the market. Like, you'll be able to tell which home they're going to likely go with because that one's usually empty and not staged. And so oftentimes they're already under contract. Like, the whole deal is done, and then they go show you the homes because otherwise you'd put an offer in and you could get beat out.
I also love it when they say Joe is a bagger at a local grocery store and his wife's a stay-at-home mom. Their budget, $900,000. We're going to take them around and show them these houses today. Give me a break. All right. We'll be back in just a minute. Stay tuned. We'll give away some Toto tickets in just a minute.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning diamond pendant, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect gemstone piece or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's a cold Friday across St. Louis, a mix of clouds and sunshine, some really chilly weather clouds in the sky. It's windy, 34. That is it for the high, so quite a bit cooler than yesterday. And the gusty winds, if you're caught out in them, it's going to be a little nippy. Tonight, some clouds around 25. Saturday, sunny and 37 degrees. Saturday night, clear and 25. And Sunday, sunny and 41. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. 32 degrees now at 7:30. A new fund has been set up to clean up eyesores in St. Louis City. Up to $350,000, which has been funded through the American Rescue Plan, can be used to repair windows, remove graffiti, and put security measures in place. The $350,000, like I mentioned, has been set aside so far. Businesses can start applying for a portion of that money in February. New gruesome details have been released after a man turned himself in and admitted to killing his dad in Manchester. An autopsy found 75-year-old Edward Godey was stabbed 50 times, strangled, and had blunt force trauma to his head and back. Police found him dead Wednesday at a home in the 1000 block of Baxter Heights Court. His son, 41-year-old Jeffrey Godey, is now charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. In sports, Blues lost 3-1 last night to the Lightning. Their Florida road trip continues tonight. They're playing the Florida Panthers at 6. Chargers overcame an 11-point deficit in the second half to beat the Broncos last night, 34-27. And a big weekend for college basketball. Bragging rights game, Mizzou versus Illinois Sunday at noon. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
A 270 on your northbound side, slow from Manchester to 64, 64 westbound. You got a stall on that ramp to northbound 270, causing some of that backup. 55 both sides between Arsenal and Lindbergh. Watch for on and off delays through that long-term work in the area. You're taking out blocking ramps and lanes, and then the ramp from 70 eastbound to 64 eastbound. That's blocked with long-term work from the Cordell and Cordell Domestic Litigation Firm Traffic Cam. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Get a 97.1 t-shirt. We've partnered with our friends at Whiskey Dickerson Small Batch Outfitters to bring you a line of high-quality conservative merchandise. Wear it loud. It's all at 971talk.com/merch.
Local news can come at you fast. Want the latest on what's happening in your backyard? Download the free Odyssey app. Follow your local news station, and you'll get alerts on the top stories making headlines in your city. You can stay in the know, no matter what you're up to, and be among the first to find out when news breaks. Plus, keep tabs on weather and traffic, so you're never caught off guard. To get started, download the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY, and follow your local news station.
And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up, play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
Hi, Thomas Helbig here with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw. As a family business, we'd like to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We grew up right here in St. Louis, part of a large family, and that's what makes the holidays so special. The things we hold in our hearts, not in our hands. It's the people, family, friends, and the personal relationships that grow stronger with the passing of time.
In the past 38 years, we have become part of many lasting relationships, and we have made a lot of friends in and around St. Louis, and that just can't be taken away. So as we turn the page and put yet another year in the books, let's remember to be good to one another. And for those of you who may have lost loved ones, our hearts go out to you. Here's hoping next year will bring even more joy and blessings to all of you. And remember the important things to be thankful for. So once again, from all of us at the Retirement Advisory Group, and from our family to your family, we'd like to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Always giving you more. The Marc Cox Morning Show. Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
Let's start cutting spending right now. I don't need debt ceilings to do it. I don't need pay-goes to do it. I don't need crutches to do it. You just have to do it. Just do it. Shock the nation and do it.
Larry, from your mouth to God's ear. We absolutely can do that. And the plan is to put the border security and some defense components of reconciliation out first, and then follow it up with the tax component.
No. All at once, ma'am. All at once. As sources close to President Trump are telling us. He would like one big, beautiful bill.
I don't think it gets done any sooner, though, Larry. That's the point. If you're going to do one great big one, if the end date is September of next year, or you're going to do a easy one early and then do the tax
100 days,
September
Senator
of next
Kramer.
year.
100 days, maybe 120 days. Yeah. I'm willing to wait 3 or 4 months if it all gets done.
Larry Kudlow, I love it. And when Larry Kudlow says sources close to the president, there's a very good chance it's the president that he's talking about. He's talking to these 2 senators who I've never heard very much from either one of them. well, we're going to do that, but we're going to do it slowly. No. That's not what we want. That's not what this has ever been about. But I know it's not just me, Kim. I mean, you get sense my frustration here, right?
No, not at all.
I'm watching CBS News, this morning, the morning show, at the top of the hour there at 7 o'clock. And because we had a guest there at the top, I didn't really get a chance to talk about this. But I'm watching this, and they go to their reporter on Capitol Hill, and he's like, well, Gail, this is a very dangerous situation. The government could run out of money tonight. And I'm thinking, did you really just say that the government temporarily running out of funding is dangerous? Are you, I mean, the networks have gone to the really extreme on this to try to scare people at home into believing if the altar at which they pray, which is big government, is temporarily not fully funded, your life will radically change. And I would argue that not only is that false, it's demonstrably false. I'll guarantee you if they run out of funding tonight at 12:01, 99% of the people listening to the sound of my voice won't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
The lights are still going to be on. You're still going to get your Medicare and your Medicaid, and you're going to be able to go to the hospital with your Medicare card and get taken care of. If you get Social Security and you get your check at the beginning of the month, so you've already gotten that. Those things don't get interrupted. They're automatically done. They passed a law a long time ago which defies logic that those things happen automatically no matter whether the government's funded or not. They're going to confiscate the money and pass it out regardless. You will not notice. So why are the lawmakers so freaked out about it? Why does the media want to scare you into believing that without government, you can't exist?
The left is truly making it seem like if the government shuts down tonight, that you will not have a response from police if you call 911. I mean, that's how much they're trying to scare the public. And then, of course, that riles the public up to put pressure on Congress. And then it's just a mess.
If the government shuts down tonight, we may never get to the truth about those drones. Well, I'm sorry. The government's fully funded at the moment, and we still don't have the truth about the drones. National security is not impacted by it. Nothing is impacted by it. This is completely to the benefit of conservatives who want to shrink the size of government to let this thing expire. Don't even try to bring another bill back up. And wait till January 3rd. If Mike Johnson wants to keep his job, that's what needs to happen. And by the way, Kim, I saw you send this out yesterday. Rand Paul tweeted out, we should name Elon Musk Speaker of the House. He'd do a great job.
That had to be a joke.
Well, no, you could do it. You don't have to be a member of
Congress.
Congress.
No, you don't have to be a member
speaker.
of Congress. But does he really think Elon Musk would be a good speaker?
Well,
I don't take that seriously.
I think Rand Paul has enough libertarian in him. He just wants to shrink government. He thinks that would be something that Musk would be good at in that role. But here's the problem. That's the third in line to succession if something was to happen to Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. The Speaker of the House becomes president. He's constitutionally barred from being president. He can't be president. He wasn't born here. So he's not eligible to be president of the United States. So it's just all of that is a distraction. None of that matters. It's in everybody's best interest to just let it shut down tonight. Because if it doesn't, if they reach a deal today, it means Chuck Schumer wins. And I'll go back to this. This is one of the best drops I have here. I've played it over and over and over through the years, but it's true. It goes all the way back to the founding of the Tea Party. When the Tea Party was founded back in the early 2000s. This is one of the guys screaming at the top of his lungs, Rick Santelli.
That's the current spending.
Stop spending. Stop spending. Stop spending. Stop spending. Stop spending. That's what we want.
That's it. That sums it up. Chip Roy summed it up. We need to stop spending. That's what we want. So for these guys to go out and just say shut this thing down, I am all on board with that. I think that's exactly what needs to happen tonight, and we will see if we're right about that. I don't know. We're going to get the folks from Americans for Prosperity on here in the next hour. I'm sure they've got some ideas. It's more than just not increasing spending. It's also about unwinding this monstrosity that's become Bidenomics. Joe Biden is trying to do all the damage he can as he goes out the door. He just approved another, I don't know how many tens of millions of dollars, might have been hundreds of millions, in trying to give student loan debt to people again. Trying to erase student loan debt. He's passing EPA rules and all this stuff as he goes out the door, trying to somehow stop Donald Trump from reversing any of it. We have got to unwind and be unburdened by what has been in the Joe Biden administration, and that's a big part of the argument. So we're going to talk to Kurt Couchman about that from Americans for Prosperity coming up in the next hour. It's good stuff. Right now, I tell you what, Ethan, why don't you go ahead and hit the song, please? You know what he did here in this song, Kim? This is Men at Work. You know this song?
This does sound familiar.
All right. You have a chance to go see Toto and Men at Work and Chris Cross out at the Hollywood Casino Amphitheater in August. It is caller 12. We got our last pair of tickets today to 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. I think tickets are on sale today as well. You want to get out there and get to your Yacht Rock tickets right now while you still can. Caller 12, good luck to you. We've just opened up the phone lines for you, and hopefully we get a winner here pretty quickly. I would go see that concert. I wouldn't go to the trouble I went to for the Sammy Hagar concert, where I wanted to be sure I secured seats in the lower bowl because he's such a showman and puts on such a fantastic show. But I could sit on the lawn for that one if I wasn't suffocated by all the pot smoke and listen to those songs. I like those bands, all right.
You do have to weigh that these days.
You do. You absolutely do. It's not as bad. It's bad. It's not as bad down in the seats. But in the lawn, man, woo!
Who was it? Carl telling us that
buzz.
you go to the Jelly Roll concert and it's like, wow.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm certain of it. I don't know. I should quit complaining about that. Do me a favor. I'll quit complaining about it when you all start buying gummies. Just pop them in your mouth and chew them, and you don't have to infect the person sitting next to you. How about that? Says the guy with bronchitis. All right. What are we whimming about today, Kim?
I think it's safe to say a lot of us are probably ordering last-minute gifts from Amazon, online, whatever, having packages delivered to our home for Christmas gifts. Well, obviously, scammers know that, and now they have this creative new way using those packages to try to get all your personal information. An alert was just sent out from one of the Missouri police departments about how this is happening in the state.
All right, we'll get to that coming up.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, Manchester up to 64. We had an earlier stall on that ramp from 64 westbound to 270 northbound. That's been cleared out of the way, so it's improving a bit. No real delays out there if you're traveling on the 70, 270, the rest of 270 looking good, 44 and 55. Not really a problem. The ramp from 70 eastbound to 64 eastbound, that's blocked with long-term work. Otherwise, very light traffic out there. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Warner Brothers. The college football playoff is here, and you don't want to miss a moment of the action. With the new 12-team format, it's guaranteed to be bigger and better than ever. The college football playoff presented by Allstate begins with 4 first-round games, December 20th and 21st on ESPN, ABC, TNT, and Max.
The Annie Fry Show.
Donald Trump gets back in. He almost has a humbled approach. It's just different.
I mean, he's not turned into a pile of fettuccine by any sense. He's still a strong guy. But I do think he's been a little more calm, a little more relaxed.
The Annie Fry Show. Weekdays from noon to 3.
Count on Steel for Christmas cleanup made easy with the SEA 20 battery-powered handheld vacuum. Now just $99.99. Visit your local Steel dealer today or shop online at steelusa.com. Valid offer for a limited time, only at participating dealers while supplies last.
You know how we all of our kids make lists and everything and visit with Santa, and I happen to be really good friends with Santa. It's like we're the same people. So every once in a while, when he's got some free time, which he did, we're cool. So he always makes it a point to stop in and have an adult beverage with me. I was talking to him about, do you ever have requests for a homeowner wanting a furnace or an air conditioner? He said he does. And I said, so what do you deliver on that? Because I'm your best bud and you never let me know. So I've never delivered anything or put anything together. But he said he was going to leave my number and my card. If you don't find it, here's what's on my card. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. Merry Christmas and God bless.
Life is challenging and ever-changing. Take control with passive income through real estate investing. Learn how, learn now. Let Del Walmsley and Lifestyles Unlimited's investors and mentors show you. Meet Del's team and get educated now at Lifestyles Unlimited. Text the word radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007. Join for just $297. Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's radio to 88007.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. We've negotiated over $5 billion in settlements. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. We've won millions for victims of truck accidents, drunk driving crashes, and workers' compensation. Call Onder Law, 314 or 618-9-million. That's 314 or 618-9, all zeros.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. And now, more sweet intro music. Kim on a whim.
I almost have to give some of these scammers props at this point because they just get so creative in the ways they come up with to try to get our information. So there's this thing called the brushing scam, which isn't necessarily new. It's been around for a number of years, but there's kind of this new twist. So what they're doing is, and this is happening locally, for example, the Bridgeton and Kirkwood police departments have posted about this happening. The Jefferson City Police Department posted about this happening. But what they're doing is they're saying someone will receive an unexpected gift that you didn't order. So maybe a box that looks like it came from Amazon or another company, which I'm sure all of us are receiving now because we're getting last-minute Christmas gifts. I know I'm not the only one who waited.
No, of course not.
So let's just say you get a box and it has a ring or a bracelet or Bluetooth speaker, something like that in it, and it will have your address and everything, but it will not include the sender's information, or it will say, whatever the case may be. It doesn't have all the details of the actual person who sent it. So you open it and you think, well, I didn't order this. It must have been sent to the wrong person. Well, what they're doing is they're putting a QR code that you're supposed to scan to see who sent the gift. So once the code is scanned, they're saying that all the information from the phone will be sent to the scammers. Is that really how it would work? If you scanned a QR code, all your information would be sent over?
Not that I'm familiar with. Every time I've ever scanned one of those at a restaurant or something, it just pops up on your camera and it takes you to a website. You would still have to, I don't know that you're automatically agreeing to, unless they've come up with a better mousetrap here, to suck all your information out of your phone. I mean, that seems like an extreme step.
I would think you would, be directed to a website, and then someone might get fooled into entering that information.
Yeah, because what will happen is you'll get to that website and it'll say, for security purposes, please enter your name and address so we know who we're dealing with, or confirm the last 4 digits of your credit card, or I mean, who knows what they might try to coerce out of people. And somebody may think, well, I guess that makes sense. They don't want to tell just anybody where this is from, so they need my information.
So maybe the information from the police department itself in Jefferson City is incorrect, because this is the post on Facebook. It says, once the code is scanned, all the information from that phone will be sent to scammers. They receive all access to the phone. All personal and financial information is accessible to the scammers. Unless maybe I don't even think this would be possible, but maybe my family was saying maybe you have your banking information saved. I mean, I know a lot of people like the shortcuts now where you have everything saved into your phone, which you could argue is not really safe. The other part of this that they're saying is happening is that these scammers are actually putting them in other places like parking meters, where, you know, sometimes if you're even parking here in downtown St. Louis, they'll have you scan a QR code and then you pay that way. I've seen those more and more because then there's an app that they want to direct you to. So supposedly these scammers are putting the fake they're real QR codes, but putting their own QR codes over the existing ones. So when you're, you know, putting your phone up to it, it's taking you to that instead. This does not just drive you bonkers when you realize all the lengths that these deadbeats go to. I guess they'd probably call themselves entrepreneurs because they're working really hard to not actually have to do a job and to instead steal your money.
I would agree. It's pretty amazing to me that I'm always surprised when people fall for it, right? But I have to ask, have you seen The Beekeeper?
No, what is that?
Ethan, the movie The Beekeeper?
No.
It's a Jason Statham movie. And the minute those words come out of my mouth, Jason Statham, my wife's eyes roll up in her head, and she knows it's a action movie where Jason beats the living hell out of every human being.
Is it a love story?
It is a love story.
Oh, okay.
It is. It is a love story, but sort of a love story, right? It is. But it's got Felicia Rashad and Jason Statham. I thought it was a good movie. But the point of the thing is, one of the key elements of the story is getting even with some of these SOBs that do this stuff, right? Because of course, if all you have to hope is if you are dumb enough to scan this thing on your front porch, or ignorant enough to do it, or just blissfully ignorant because you just think, well, this is what I should do, and then they steal your stuff, you don't really have any real recourse. They're probably overseas. In this movie, Jason Statham gets revenge, and I love it.
We'd all like to be able to say what's the actor's name in Taken?
Oh, Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson, thank you. He's like, I will find you and I will kill you.
Yeah.
That's what we would all like to be able to say to these scammers, because this is seriously what they do for a living, and I'm sure they make a ton of money off of it because so many people fall for it. Yes, I'm that person who's thinking, I can't believe you fell for that. But I'm telling you what, they are getting so creative. There's been a few times where I'm genuinely really staring at something and Googling because I'm not quite sure. And if you're in a hurry, especially these emails I've been receiving recently, because, it's around the holidays, so how timely, where you get an email saying you ordered something.
Yeah.
And you might think, oh my gosh, what if I, one of the what do they call them, the skimmers at the gas pump, where they're taking your information when you put in your credit card to pay. I don't know. So it's easy when you're, again, going quickly and you see one of them that you think, wait a minute, I didn't order anything from that, and you click the link. You look obviously for spelling errors. That's one of the biggest signs that something is not right.
Never be surprised at how sharp these people are and all the new stuff they come up with to try to scam you out of a dime or two of your money. We go to the same, it happens to be a QT near our house a lot, and suddenly a couple of odd charges showed up on our credit card, and that's where we boiled it down that it somehow the information was stolen at that gas station across the street. It happens to be across the street from my bank, and we were able to shut it down and deny the charges and get a new credit card issued. But if you don't realize it for a week or two, you could have lost hundreds of dollars just that fast.
So Lisa on Facebook, which we lovingly call her Mama K, she's saying that this happened at her offices. She said that someone wrote RTS on a FedEx. You can't do that. I took the box and looked online for the firm, didn't use the QR code. No one was working there but that name, so they said open it. It was a promo item, they said. Anyway, I'm trying to figure this all out, but point is, she's saying it happened at her office with this fake QR code.
Wow.
See, it's happening here.
It could happen to the best of us. Well,
what's going to be the future as AI continues advancing? What are they going to be able to do that makes it that much more convincing? Because they already have the scam where they pretend to be your loved one who got into a car accident and they need your help and all this money that they need you to send over. And I think most people would probably not fall for that. But I've heard that they've been able to find a way where they can make it sound like that loved one, which would be very convincing. I mean, think about how AI is going to change this, because those pathetic scammers are going to be the ones who take all the time to learn all the possibilities that they have with AI and use them against us.
That's true. I had an aunt who fell victim to that one time years ago. I thought it was a grandchild calling, and sent money. So they're always coming up with something new. All right, next hour we're going to get Kurt Couchman on here from Americans for Prosperity. In addition to the budget, how do they go about unwinding Bidenomics? That's a great question. We'll get to it next
it's
hour.
weight loss coach Charles D'Angelo. Listen to my client, comedian and actor Tom Arnold, talk about his 80-pound weight loss on my program.
I think at first I was afraid I couldn't do it, couldn't lose weight, even if I did everything he said. And it did take a little bit to get going. And then all of a sudden one day I'm like, holy hell, look how much weight I've lost. It's crazy. I'd seen his results, turning huge people into normal-sized people, and he himself was huge. I couldn't see the end of it. In 6 months to lose 80 pounds. How do you do that? And I still was eating. I was eating more meals. You know, he likes to talk about feelings a lot, which is, at first I was like, this muscular dude is talking about a lot of feelings, but I didn't really want to have that conversation, but that felt good. You know, you said like, you deserve to be healthy. You deserve to be, you know, and I was like, yeah, that was a good thing. If I could do it, for sure anybody could do it. You got to get Charles D'Angelo. There's nothing like it.
Schedule your free coaching consultation today at charlesdangelo.com.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too, to help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose, paid for by Bayer.
Your voice can be key to changing lives. That's why the American Cancer Society is calling on Black women from all walks of life to join Voices of Black Women, a groundbreaking research study led by the American Cancer Society and backed by more than 70 years of trusted cancer research studies and breakthroughs. The Voices of Black Women study is designed to better understand why and how cancer and other conditions impact Black women. It's a commitment to partnering with Black women to better understand their lived experiences. Learn more at voices.cancer.org.
At Odyssey, we believe in casting a wide net to create a diverse and inclusive workforce, as we value the power of community and encourage local organizations to help us in referring qualified applicants to our stations. If you're a community organization interested in receiving our vacancy information, simply email equalemployment@odyssey.com. You'll be directly notified of our open positions. Again, that's equalemployment@odyssey.com. And for our listeners, we invite you to visit odysseyinc.com/careers. There, you'll find an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. This brand new facility offers state-of-the-art independent or assisted living and memory care, and now has holiday specials on select apartments. Visit npseniorliving.com or call today to schedule a free lunch to experience senior living redefined for yourself. I can see clearly now thanks to the doctors at Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and introducing Samuel Berry. You can too. Call 314-966-5000 or check out youridoc.com. That's youridoc.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Congress only has 15 hours left. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, to pass a spending plan to prevent a government shutdown after midnight. And there may be a House vote on some plan next hour.
Certainly, we're in this game of Russian roulette at this point in time. I think that the Speaker has put something on the floor, and he's going to do another time. He'll give the Democrats an opportunity to participate in this.
Republican Senator Roger Marshall tells Fox,
I think the most important thing is we don't saddle President Trump with any type of debt ceiling limitation going forward.
Democrats blame President-elect Trump for getting Republicans to scrap a bipartisan funding plan. This hasn't happened in more than a decade. U.S. diplomats are in Syria, meeting with opposition leaders who overthrew the Assad government after a long civil war. They're also there to get more information, trying to find Austin Tice, the American journalist who went missing covering the war in Syria in 2012. We just got another inflation update. A gauge the Federal Reserve monitors closely, and as Fox Business Network's Lauren Simonetti reports, it's better than expected.
The PCE price index month over month came in at 0.1. It had been 0.2 for the prior 2 months, and that was the expectation, so that was a little bit lighter. And the personal consumption index year over year also lighter, 2.4%.
However, that annual rate is slightly higher than in October and is similar to the increase in the Consumer Price Index for last month. It's day 2 of a strike for thousands of workers at 7 Amazon warehouses from California to New York, days before Christmas. Teamsters President Sean O'Brien tells Fox.
Santa would be disgusted in the behavior that Amazon has been engaging in over the last several years. They don't respect their workers.
Amazon's refused to negotiate with the Teamsters, arguing most of the striking workers are not employees, but third-party delivery drivers. Another strike just brewed up this morning at some Starbucks in Chicago, Los Angeles, and Seattle. America's listening to Fox News.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AB.
Good morning. It is Friday, December 20th. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. We're at 32 degrees now if you're just leaving the house at 8:03. 4 St. Louis County Council members are suing County Executive Sam Page, asking the state court not to allow him to choose Wesley Bell's replacement without their approval. A judge, though, still has to decide whether Page even has the power to pick the next prosecuting attorney, or if that's up to Governor Mike Parson. The 4 council members suing, Shalonda Webb, Rita Days, Mark Harder, and Dennis Hancock, argue the county charter gives them the authority to reject Page's pick. Skeletal remains found earlier this week near Creve Coeur Lake have been identified as a missing South City woman. That woman, 53-year-old Tammy Perrin, had been missing since September. Her remains were found at a park near a canal that connects Mallards Lake and Creve Coeur Lake. Maryland Heights police say the identification of Perrin is considered tentative until the medical examiner's office has confirmed her identity. Employees with Procter & Gamble were forced to evacuate Thursday after a fire broke out at its warehouse off Interstate 70 near Grand Boulevard. Smoke from this fire could be seen for miles. Firefighters say no one works at the warehouse where the fire started, and thankfully it did not spread to the nearby building that is staffed, so employees evacuated as a precaution. Still at this hour, not clear what started the fire. It's 8:04 and 32 degrees at 97.1 FM Talk. In sports, the Blues have lost 4 of their last 5 games after last night's 3-1 loss to the Lightning. Their Florida road trip continues tonight. They'll be playing the Florida Panthers at 6. While the Chargers overcame an 11-point deficit in the second half to beat the Broncos last night, 34-27. And hey, this is a big weekend for college basketball. The bragging rights game between Mizzou and Illinois is Sunday. Tip-off is at noon. 32 degrees now at 8:05. You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, we've got not a lot of delays out there. A couple issues. We've got 70 westbound, just past Bermuda, a right shoulder taken out with a stall. Another one on 70 eastbound before Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, a right shoulder, partial right lane on that one. And emergency crews on 55 northbound. The ramp to 270, 255. We've got those emergency vehicles blocking partially blocking that ramp. 170 southbound past Page. Watch for another stall off on the left side. And then the ramp from 70 eastbound at 64 eastbound blocked with long-term work from the Cordell & Cordell domestic litigation firm Traffic Cam. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a cold Friday across St. Louis, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Some really chilly weather clouds in the sky. It's windy, 34. That is it for the high. So quite a bit cooler than yesterday. And the gusty winds, if you're caught out in them, it's going to be a little nippy. Tonight, some clouds around 25. Saturday, sunny and 37 degrees. Saturday night, clear and 25. And Sunday, sunny and 41. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
8:06 now and 32 degrees. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show on 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere by downloading the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show.
Listen to both sides.
The bottom line is,
I respect that. We don't agree.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Just to find a voice. Who is this guy? He's saying what we've been saying forever.
I don't know how to put this.
Marc Cox.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Well, it adds excitement, doesn't it, folks?
Hey, it's a Friday. We made it the Friday before the big Christmas week and the Hanukkah week, or whatever you happen to be celebrating this year. So we're glad you decided to spend your Friday morning with us. Hopefully your drive-in isn't too bad this morning. Sue Thomas, by the way, will be back next week. She's I've had several people online commenting, "Where's Sue? Where's Sue? We miss Sue." I mean, Trent's doing a great job, but people get used to Sue. She's very thorough on her traffic and let you know what's going on all over the place. So she knows where the problem spots are, and we'll get her back in here on, I think, Monday. I think she's back Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday of next week. I'll be back Monday and Friday, have a little time off in the middle of the week next week. Kim St. Ange, I don't know. She's out of here after today.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got you're back like for the first week of January, right?
Next week? I'm back between Christmas and New Year's.
Yes.
Unless you'd like me to take an additional week off. I would be willing
no.
to do that.
No.
Hey, quick shout out. I know a lot of you are probably listening to us on the app or the radio, but for those of you who are watching us online, by the way, we are interacting with you guys on Facebook if you want to search the Marc Cox Show that way. But people have been commenting on the shirt that I'm wearing. John just commented on it, and Debbie was commenting on it. It is Mark gave this to us for our Christmas gifts. It's a long sleeve Marc Cox Morning Show T-shirt that's really comfy, by the way, but it has the American flag with a thin blue line, but then it says Marc Cox Morning Show. Now
the pressure is on, Kim. I'm glad you enjoy it. Gave one to Carl and Ethan as well, and sent one off to Todd Pyro and our friend Griff Jenkins and Nicole Murray. I got them all one as well. It's sort of a one-off, though, unless we can talk our friends at Whiskey Dickerson into offering the long-sleeve version on their website. You can buy those T-shirts on the whiskeydickerson.com website, by the way. I'll just point that out. Just not the long sleeve version of it.
I do love the long sleeve tee.
I know. Sort of like that hoodie I had those printed up a couple years ago. I gave you one of those, but those were a one-off too. So not generally available to the public.
Well, John says, Marc Cox, you are a man of good taste.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Of course, worked the thin blue line. That was my own design, by the way, just so you know. I went to my friend Richie and said, could you do this? And this is what he came up with. So I was very, very happy about that. That's for sure. Hey, we still got plenty to get to. Our friend Chad Hanson's going to swing by just a little bit later. Love Chad and what the folks do out there at Hanson's Tree Service. He's going to be down here, and I asked him to swing by the studio to talk about the holidays a little bit and what he's got going on. Plus, we'll get to Kurt Couchman here in a few minutes from Americans for Prosperity. I probably don't have them on often enough. They do really great work talking about ways we can, I don't know, shrink government. Is that even a possibility? I don't know. I'm watching CBS News here at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock, and they're like, this is devolving into a dangerous situation. We're only hours away from the government shutting down. Don't buy the hype. Honestly, you're not even going to notice if it does shut down, and nobody's not going to get paid. And if the paychecks have already gone out for this month anyway, according to Chad Pergram from Fox News. So it's a whole bunch of hoo-ha over nothing. We'll get to all that and more for you coming up here in just a couple minutes. But first, let's get to this morning's top stories, please.
The Marc Cox Shortlist.
It's a scandal of epic proportions, and it's a fair question to ask. Who is running the country? Who has been running the country?
Scott Jennings there, who is talking about this report in the Wall Street Journal. They finally did some investigative reporting up there, and wow, what do you know? Joe Biden's got dementia. He's not all there. We've been telling you this for 4 years.
If she had tried to convince Cassidy Hutch to testify a certain way in front of the J6 committee, then this woman violated federal law.
Yeah, it's true. That, of course, Bill O'Reilly saying, listen, maybe there is some there when it comes to charges against Liz Cheney.
We need at least 100,000 beds, and because of beds were turned over in 30 days, which gives us a free bed every day. But I'm not going to put a limit on it. I'm telling the minimum we need 100,000 beds because we got a big population to look for.
Wow.
And you know, 700,000 criminals alone.
That's Tom Homan. I mean, the media, the left-wing media doesn't quite know what to do with them. They're like, well, I know you keep saying day one, but when would it really start? And he looks at him and he goes, day one?
I'm telling you, Joy, there's a train wreck coming in this Musk-Trump thing.
Yeah, Claire McCaskill, poor Claire Bear. I mean, she's got to do what she's got to do to make money these days. I understand it. She's been a shill on MSNBC now for a while, our former Missouri senator. They are chomping at the bit. I just saw somebody put up a tweet this morning from Hillary Clinton. Now, you know, the Hill does not... Generally speaking, when I start talking about her, she gets a little angry. She does not like me to talk about her at all. Tell me what to say. I know. And then she'll, you know, she gets on Bill.
Back up, you creep. Get away from me.
But they tweeted out earlier. They were looking at her tweet because Hillary has tweeted out because that big evil Elon Musk. Now you know what's really going on. They're taking orders from the world's richest man, those Republicans, who wants to shut down the government over the holidays. And she's claiming it would stop paychecks for troops and nutrition benefits for low-income families just in time for Christmas.
Everyone we've talked to, it seems,
Grinch.
is telling us
that won't
that's
happen.
just not it.
I know.
I just retweeted that now and said, you sit on a throne of lies.
It's true.
And probably smells like beef and cheese.
Well, but the you know, again, it's the talking points. It's what the left needs to do. They're the party out of power. They got their rear ends kicked in the November election. People have completely rejected what they're about. They're taking a little bit of joy in watching the Republicans try to squirm and get a budget deal passed. But, I mean, for right now, they still have a shred of power. His name is Chuck Schumer, and he can control what gets through the Senate for about another week and a half. And then the Republicans control it. So all we have to do is shut the government down for a week and a half, and it doesn't matter what Chuck Schumer thinks. That just makes sense to me. In the meantime, they're going to trot out people, the washed-up has-beens like Claire Bear, to try to scare the hell out of people. Here, you can tell what she's trying to do here. She's trying to goad Donald Trump. That's where they think they can win points here. Listen.
Yeah, there's some ketchup flying tonight because Donald Trump looks tiny right now. And he hates to look tiny. He looks small compared to Elon Musk. Everybody knows Elon Musk did this, and Trump just said, hey, me too, at the end of the day. And secondly, once Trump weighed in, he has been flying high. He's been saying everybody loves me now, and everybody's in love with me. I'm the Time Man of the Year. He can't even get his party to vote for what he wanted them to vote for.
I don't even know. Claire used to live over near Kansas City. I don't know where she lives now. She was clearly in her kitchen doing a remote with MSNBC. Just gleeful that Donald Trump might feel small. I'd say actually it's the opposite of that. He's feeling all 6 feet 4 inches and he's walking tall. Wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's having more influence over what happens in the United States right now than our sitting president.
Or the world.
Yeah.
The world.
Arguably the world.
World leaders like, Justin Trudeau may be out up in Canada in the 51st state soon. And what's going on overseas. So I'm enjoying it, actually. It's fun to watch. Don't get sucked in by the drama that the left would pull on you here. What happens next, though? Because let's just set the CR aside for a minute. There's a lot of stuff Donald Trump needs to fix, and he needs to start fixing it on day one. And as he's heading out the door, the Biden administration is trying to do everything they can to cement some things in place that will make it hard to overturn. So we're going to talk to our friends from Americans for Prosperity about what can be done, what the possibilities are, how to go about it when we come back.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, we don't have a lot of delays left out there. Things are improving quite a bit. We do have 55, your northbound side, ramp to 270. Emergency vehicles taking out that ramp, 70 eastbound. Past 270, a right shoulder is taken out. 170 southbound past Page. You're finding some delays as you make your way through the area because of a stalled vehicle off to the left side. Otherwise, things moving pretty decent on 55 through the work zone. Southbound side, a slight delay around Arsenal or past Arsenal. Down to Lindbergh, you'll find on and off delays with ramp closures and lane closures as well. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
There's a music station that fits your taste at Odyssey.com. Download the app for instant access to hundreds of music stations and listen live to 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it or stream from 971talk.com.
Hey, it's weight loss coach Charles D'Angelo. Listen to my client, Dr. Howland, talk about how I helped him lose 100 pounds on my program.
You know, my entire health, my ability just to fit in airline seats, to buy clothing off the rack, simply to even take a walk with my family, I just really hadn't quite made aware of all the negative impacts that this extra weight was having. And so then once I got the opportunity to see what it was like to be 110 pounds down again, believe me, it is a very different, a much better life. It certainly is eye-opening. You shake your head that, how did I ever get there? It really does seem to be a great combination of healthy eating and timely eating, of daily exercise, and then of the psychological introspection and accountability that I think really gets to the point of why we eat, why we gain weight in the first place. And that three-pillared approach, I think, is really why it was successful for me.
Schedule your free coaching consultation today at charlesdangelo.com. That's charlesdangelo.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The gloves are off. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
If the House can't pass anything, then Schumer has all the leverage here. I'm always about what the art of possible, what's really possible. You're right about this. This is a scam. I'm going to get into this in a few minutes. The fact that this keeps happening is a complete fraud upon the American people. Yeah. However, you don't have the votes. And the Republicans have done this routine both on the spending side and the oppositional side for years. To what end? Has the budget deficit gone down? Has the debt declined? No and no.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Laura Ingraham last night was talking to Chip Roy, and she's like, I hear you. I understand your frustration over this, but you've done this before and nothing has changed. Yeah, but we're on the precipice of a lot changing, Laura, I would argue. And if there's ever been a time to stand up, this is it right now. we need to get this done for sure. We've got Kurt Couchman with us, Senior Policy Fellow for Americans for Prosperity. And Kurt, welcome in. How are you?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, it's good to have you on. I know you spent some time in front of Congress testifying on this very issue last week, right?
That's right. I testified before the House Budget Committee on ways to deal with our coming fiscal crisis, and I focused on how you could write a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution that could actually pass and not create a bunch of problems.
Man, you are singing my tune right there. I don't have any realistic feeling that the people that control D.C. will ever allow that to happen, because the left, the progressive left, and the establishment in this country, let's face it, a lot of the bureaucrats that inhabit Washington, they never want to have those kinds of reins on them, right? That would drive them crazy to think that there would be a limit on what they could spend.
Well, that may be so, but there's two reasons to think that Congress may be motivated to deal with this. And one is that there is pending litigation to sue Congress to call a convention of states. The argument is that enough states had called for an amendment convention and Congress never called it. So we'll see how that plays out. But members of Congress certainly won't want state legislators writing the fiscal restraints for them. And the other thing that we should be a lot more worried about than we are is the bond market. Most states got their fiscal limits, debt controls, balanced budget rules, and all that after having fiscal problems. Some of them even defaulted in the 1840s and also in the 1870s. So I don't want that to happen with the federal government. That would be a disaster.
Right.
But if it were to happen, or if people feel like the bond market really needs some signs of assurance, then yeah, maybe a well-crafted balanced budget amendment could be part of the mix.
I'd love it.
I just think about how DOJ has this goal for Vivek and Elon to cut $2 trillion from the government budget. And then you look at what they've tried to pass now and just how ridiculous it is. It's just, to me, even more clear how big of an uphill battle this is going to be for DOJ to accomplish that.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable how much waste and low value and not constitutionally appropriate spending happens in D.C., and yet it keeps expanding. We've got $100 billion plus of emergency spending with no offsets in this package. And then, there's another bill that it looks like it's going to get passed by the Senate with bipartisan support to, take $200 billion out of the Social Security Trust Fund to give windfalls to retired government employees, which is totally crazy, but it looks like that's going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm always leery whenever they put together a 1,600-page bill. There's going to be something in there that you don't like. But Kurt, let's talk about realities moving forward. Joe Biden's administration is doing everything it can to throw as much money out the door and try to cement some of these EPA policies and student loan forgiveness things as it can before he leaves office. Unwinding some of that is going to be very difficult. What do you guys have you guys laid out a blueprint for maybe how lawmakers could attack that?
Yeah, I mean, it's true that they are trying to shovel as much money out the door as possible. And some of that is questionable whether you can take back something that's already been given away.
Right.
So, that might be just water under the bridge at that point. But more important, that's not chump change. That's probably tens of billions of dollars we're talking about, which is a lot. But we've got to save trillions of dollars over the next decade. And so my view is that, in addition to having to do the tax extensions and build on that next year, we've also got to fix the system, because right now, Republicans are caught in a doom loop where the current process totally fails them. It fails the country. And a lot of that is because the appropriations process is only a quarter of spending. It's only 1/4 of spending and none of the revenue. It only includes really the appropriations committees. And so the members of all of the other committees that have jurisdiction over spending and revenue programs, they don't really have a seat at the table. They don't have a chance to manage their programs. They don't have a chance to fix problems from year to year. So until they get serious and have a real budget with everything in it, it's just not going to happen.
And that's where they go through the 12 different spending bills and actually present them and vote on them, which hasn't been done in 8 or 9 years now? Has it been that long? Longer than that?
Well, they keep trying, but not all of the appropriations bills have been passed before the start of the fiscal year since calendar year 1996. It's a broken process. It needs to be fixed. We're working with folks on the solutions. But we need to get Congress to realize how urgent this is, and maybe the debt and the bond market issues will be the fire under them that gets it done. But they're just waiting and waiting, and things are getting worse and worse. So I guess at what point does it change?
Yeah, it's a great point. Where can people go to find out more about AFP and what you guys are trying to do?
Find us at americansforprosperity.org. That's our website. Or just go to your favorite social media website and search Americans for Prosperity. You can drop Missouri in there as well. We have a state chapter that is doing some great stuff, both with federal and state policy. So we're all over the place. We're a grassroots organization. We've got people all over the country.
Well, it's good. Keep up the good work, Kurt. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Kurt Couchman there with Americans for Prosperity. Love the idea of a balanced budget amendment. We should have done it years ago. I don't know that it ever gets done now. It's the same problem we have in Missouri. The lobbyists don't want initiative petition reform because they make money on every campaign, whether it wins or loses. They don't want to limit that. And the progressives, the people that thrive on big government, the people in the establishment, they make money on big government. They don't want controls on how much money is spent. So it's going to take a Herculean effort to ever get any kind of balanced budget amendment, and maybe the bringing it up to the Congress, like you mentioned again, is a constitutional Congress is the only way to get it done. I hate that, and that's a can of worms you open when you do that, but that may be the way we have to go. We're going to be back in just a minute. Stay tuned.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show.
This is Chad Klayman with KlaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy property as is. Do you have a property that is vacant? Maybe it's been sitting empty for years. Maybe it's been sitting empty for a month. Well, we're interested in buying vacant properties. If you have a property sitting vacant, you're at risk of damage. You're paying insurance. You're paying taxes while it is not being utilized. We are interested in making you an as-is cash offer, and we can close on your timeline. Please reach out, KLAMEN Group.com.
We all know how important nutrition is to our health, and now is the time to do something about it. With Neovitin Women's Multivitamin, you can give your body sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to support your daily health. Created by a St. Louis physician, Neovitin Women's Multivitamin is formulated with our proprietary blend for daily support you won't find anywhere else. Best of all, you can get Neovitin Women's Multivitamin delivered right to your door with our convenient monthly subscription. Go to neovitin.com and sign up for a subscription today.
Hey, it's Annie and Stewie here talking about the market right now for buying a home. If you've been thinking about relocating and you're not sure if the season is right now to go buy, Stewie, you've got something to say about that.
You know what, Annie? This is the season. Be smart. Traditionally, the wintertime is when it's slower for sellers. They're more apt to give you a better price. Take advantage now. Now, here's what's going to happen if you wait. You wait till spring. There's going to be lower interest rates, more bidding wars, higher prices. Not the smart way to go. Buy now, pay the higher interest rate. When the rates drop in spring, you can always refinance for free. Then you'll get the right price for the right home and make sure you get the house without all the other bidding wars happening, and you'll be happier and you'll pay less at the end of the day.
And when he says you can refinance for free, that's with the Bagel Loan. With your purchase or refinance, $0 in closing costs on your new mortgage. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's a cold Friday across St. Louis, a mix of clouds and sunshine, some really chilly weather clouds in the sky. It's windy, 34. That is it for the high, so quite a bit cooler than yesterday. And the gusty winds, if you're caught out in them, it's going to be a little nippy. Tonight, some clouds around 25. Saturday, sunny and 37 degrees. Saturday night, clear and 25. And Sunday, sunny and 41. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. President-elect Donald Trump this week transferred his entire stake of shares in Trump Media to a revocable trust, of which he is the sole beneficiary, regulatory filings revealed. Trump Media, which trades under the DJT ticker, closed at $35.41 per share, making the value of the transferred stock worth more than $4 billion. Nike CEO Elliott Hill has outlined his strategy to return the company to growth after the retailer blamed deep discounting for declining revenue and profit. The longtime Nike veteran said the company is returning sport to the center of everything it does. Shares of Tesla have slid 5% in what appears to be a case of investors taking profits from the electric car maker's blistering post-U.S. election rally. Tesla shares slumped 8% on Wednesday to post their worst day since before Donald Trump's presidential election victory in November. Futures are moderately lower after key inflation data. Yesterday, the Dow Industrial gained 15. That's your money now.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's
Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Oh, things have cleared up for the most part, in pretty decent shape. We have a couple of issues out there. It's 44 eastbound, just past Antire. Watch for a stalled vehicle. 64 westbound around Clayton Road. We've got another stall. That's off to your right with some slowing in the area. 64 on your westbound side at Boone's Crossing, another stall. And one more at 270 southbound at Page Avenue. We've got a right lane partially taken out with that one. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, you hear a lot about senior living communities. Maybe you have a perception of what that looks like in your head. Maybe you've had a bad experience. I don't know where that perception might have come from. But if you haven't visited one, you need to go to Hampton Manor, Wentzville, and it will kind of just transform your mind as to what senior living can be. Beautiful, like a resort. Chandeliers, no expense spared, beautiful libraries and outdoor areas with gondolas and people, sitting out there, and they can enjoy the weather when it's nice, and movie theaters and spas, and it just goes on and on. I've been there a number of times. I've eaten lunch over there a couple times. The food's outstanding, at their own personal chef, but it doesn't come with the resort style prices you might think. And the proof is in the tour. Just go schedule a tour out there. It's at the Lake St. Louis exit at Highway 70. You'll see everything I'm talking about for yourself. Beautiful single-story senior living community, Hampton Manor of Wentzville. You're going to love the attitude they have out there about the people that have made this their forever home. Schedule your appointment today. Tell them you heard Marc Cox bragging about it. It's WentzvilleAssistedLiving.com.
Hey, it's Sue Thomas, just here to wish you a very Merry Christmas. Hope you have a wonderful holiday. And thanks for being such fabulous people. We just have the best listeners, and we all really, really appreciate it. And a Happy New Year, too.
Cardinals ticket packs are on sale now and feature 2025's highest demand games and giveaways. Choose from the opening day pack, the bobblehead pack, the Sunday pack, and more. New for 2025, check out the Flex Pack. Starting at just 3 games, this option allows you to build your own pack. As a special bonus, all Cardinals ticket packs include cards cash loaded right into the barcode of your ticket and ready to spend on concessions and more. For all the details, visit cardinals.com/holiday.
Cardinals single game tickets for the 2025 season, including opening day, are on sale now, just in time for the holidays. Give the gift of family time, date nights, or hanging out with your friends under the stadium lights. The 2025 schedule is filled with great matchups, including weekends with the Dodgers, Yankees, Cubs, and more. The promo schedule is packed with fan favorites, too. There's something for everyone in the 2025 season, so get your tickets now at cardinals.com/holiday.
Make holiday magic this year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct. A stunning diamond pendant, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer. Or maybe you're looking for that perfect gemstone piece or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have hundreds of styles that are ready to be wrapped and put under the tree. No need to wait for shipping. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift. Or for some fabulous ideas before you head to the store, see the online seasonal gift guide now at Diamonds Direct. DiamondsDirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
The helm is in good hands. This is the Marc Cox Morning Show. Find everything Marc Cox at 971talk.com/Cox.
It's another example of this lawfare campaign that was waged by Democrats, boomeranging back on them and falling all around their ears. Anyone who watched this trial, remember, this is the DA who claimed that the entire Trump reelection campaign was something like an organized crime racket that was intending to deprive everyone of our civil rights to vote. But remember, we saw the dramatic testimony over the summer of how DA Fani Willis had hired her boyfriend, essentially, to be the special counsel, overpaid him, and then had him investigate and bring charges against Donald Trump. It's a complete conflict of interest. And if you take a quick look at the Georgia Appeals Court decision here, that's what it says. There's such an appearance of impropriety, an appearance of a conflict of interest, that Fani Willis should not be the prosecutor. I think this spells yet another case that's going to have to either be suspended or more likely just ended.
Yeah, no kidding. John, you there looking at this Fani Willis case down in Georgia. Why did it take this long to come to that conclusion? It's not unlike Letitia James in New York. Ran for office with the promise of getting Trump, angry at Trump, hates Trump, orange man bad, dreamed up some RICO conspiracy theory, found a grand jury she could convince to indict a ham sandwich, indicted. It was lawfare from the beginning. This is the one where they wanted to drag him in and get his mug shot, right? This is big bad Trump. And it's garbage. They're not. This is going to die. The wheels are coming off this lawfare train by the left, but way too slowly. They should have come off a long time ago. I just can't believe it. The other case we haven't talked much about, Kim, is this Luigi Mangione case. Chuck's nephew. Somebody got mad at me for connecting to Chuck Mangione, but seriously, they flew this guy into New York yesterday. Todd Pyro was reporting on why they had to fly him into New York. Listen.
They're not supporting him because they think he's innocent. They're supporting him because of what he is accused of doing, which is shooting the CEO. The reason they needed to take a flight and not drive through New Jersey is because they were concerned that on the roads there would be too many people supporting him, and that could lead to something, if you've seen movies, that could be bad. That's the reason they flew him. That's a sad state of affairs in our country, and that's why I worry about the jury pool, because all you need is one.
Oh, my God.
Wow, that's a good point, because they were talking about on social media how they had a private jet, then they put him on a helicopter, flew him in, have this glamorous backdrop of New York City. You see Luigi walking up with like 20 NYPD guys, plus New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Why he was there, I'm not quite sure. Seemed like it was maybe just for show.
And they put him in Rikers, right?
Well, is that the prison where Diddy is?
I think so.
Same law office. It's representing this guy. Luigi is is representing Diddy. People were talking about how Luigi was putting his tongue in cheek, like putting his tongue to the side of his cheek, and they're saying that was his way of relaying to people the contempt. Did you hear of this?
I did see that. It's nuts. I mean, these people are absolutely insane that he would be trying to signal to people while they're walking him in. This guy murdered somebody in cold blood. He's clearly a maniac.
Well, and they found his journal entry that talked about how he initially planned to kill him way earlier. And he talked about how he was glad that he procrastinated. That was the word he used. He was glad he procrastinated because it allowed him to learn more about United Healthcare.
Which he had no interaction with, right? And he was never denied a claim by United Healthcare that we know of.
Wasn't even covered by United Healthcare, which is so odd. It says in the August 14th entry, prosecutors say Mangione wrote, quote, "The target is insurance because it, quote, checks every box." So I don't think he cared what insurance company it was. He just wanted to take down the head of an insurance company because he was mad. He was mad that maybe he didn't get coverage for this back injury that he supposedly had.
Well, what he is nuts. I mean, the gun, the weapon that he used to do the crime is irrelevant. He could have jumped on the guy's back and stabbed him to death. I mean, he had no security. I'm sure they all have security now.
Which was weird.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is it weird?
The fact that he'd been getting threats and he didn't have security, I find that very odd.
It's a little naive for sure. At that level of corporate leadership, I'm a little surprised they did not have private security.
Did you hear there was some report that found that 4 in 10 people think it was in some way justified to murder the CEO?
Wasn't that poll among like people 25 years old or something?
Yes,
wasn't it specific to age, wasn't it?
Gosh, and I was trying to find it here as we were speaking, but I want to say it was like, was it 18 to 28? I can't remember. It was a younger group that said that.
Which once again proves you shouldn't be able to cut off your genitals as a teenager because your frontal lobe has clearly not developed. If at age 25 you think what that guy did was okay.
These are probably the same people who were paying money to have pictures of Luigi tattooed on their skin. I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Who were we talking to from Fox the other day who said that there's been so many people outside the federal building, I guess, the courthouse, who have been holding up signs in support of Luigi? Isn't that wild?
Women wanting to marry him and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Oh, do you know the amount of letters he will get and marriage proposals when he's sitting in that jail cell?
I'm sure. You know what we need to do? We need Drew Young, you need to come in the studio. I know Drew's sitting out there manning the desk, but we need to have Drew step into the studio here for just a minute. If you don't mind getting him, Ethan, because
he's coming in.
Is he coming in? All right, I figured he might have heard us. We have a little bit of a delay between here and there. We got to call you out, buddy. You need to come in here because we have a rule here on the morning show. Mm-hmm. Did you know that? No. And I know you're not always on the morning show, but because you are a temporary member of the morning show today, you must abide by these rules.
Okay.
We don't reply all to emails here.
Thank you.
That's your rule? I can congratulate my teammates.
Kim pointed out that email that went out yesterday for another radio station or station group, there are only like 6. If you notice, there are only like 5 or 6 people on there that replied all. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be one of those people.
As soon as it came out, I go, Drew's a reply aller.
Well, can I just say that we did. It was a congratulations email to 2 of our team members.
Yes.
At 96.3, which I just recorded with them over the weekend.
Okay, but just send it to them individually.
We're happy for them, but not everybody in the company needs to know that you feel happy for them as well.
I usually wouldn't, but
unless you're just trying to suck up to somebody.
Don't give us a butt
that
monkey.
could be it. That could be it.
I mean, if you guys get an accomplishment, I'll reply all.
No, we don't want you to.
Please don't. I don't want you to. Just send it to me.
Well, good to know. I didn't know that was a rule.
We have a lot of strong feelings about that here on the Marc
We're going to vote you off the island if you do that again.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
All right. Well, I hope you guys get an award soon. We'll see.
Oh, I think that was a little dig at us because we didn't get an award. He didn't have to reply all to our company-wide email.
That is what it is. We need to get a poll in the chat and see.
Oh, we should do a poll. We know what, Mark Cox? We should put a poll up on X, whatever, and see if the majority of people support a reply all.
For a congratulations thing.
No,
it doesn't matter what it is.
No, it doesn't matter. We're not going to. Yeah, no, don't go there.
No, it doesn't matter. If an email's been sent out to everyone, you should assume everybody saw it. Mm-hmm. It was congratulating you, patting you on the back. That's great. You don't need 50 people to reply to the same email saying, "Wow, congratulations, way to go!" Because at that point, you're just doing it so that the boss sees it, in my opinion. That's the only reason you're doing it. If you really cared, you'd go look that individual up and just thank them individually.
Oh, are you saying Drew doesn't care?
I'm just saying. I
love that you're calling him out.
So D to the C just made an accomplishment. I said congrats to him.
That's nice, but you didn't reply all?
I didn't
Well,
reply
it was nice to him, but not nice to us who had to receive the email from you.
Well, maybe it'd be different if you
Drew, you're a good sport. We like you, man. We're just giving you some grief.
Don't ever do it again.
Yeah, just don't let that happen.
See what happens.
Or we'll publicly shame you. Go out. You have to do the shame,
the walk of shame,
like the Game of Thrones scene out of the studio.
Don't make him take his clothes off. What are you doing? That's what happened in that scene.
That's how it happened.
That's how we get to HR.
Yeah, that's how you get to HR.
You know what? Then when HR lets everybody know about what we did,
you can reply all.
All right.
All right, quick break here. We're going to be back in just a minute. Stay tuned.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. Dependable traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Only delay left over is 55 southbound through the work zone from Broadway down to about Bates. You've got some heavy traffic with a couple lane closures. Northbound side's okay. 270 is cleared up for the most part. A slight delay past Manchester up to 64. Southbound on 170 approaching 64, a slight delay, and as well as 64 westbound as you pass Kings Highway. You'll find another slowdown from the Cordell and Cordell Domestic Litigation Firm Traffic Cam. I'm Trent Erickson with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for New Perspective Senior Living in Weldon Spring. This brand new facility offers state-of-the-art independent or assisted living and memory care, and now has holiday specials on select apartments. Visit npseniorliving.com or call today to schedule a free lunch to experience senior living redefined for yourself.
Different.
I mean, he's not turned into Pilot Fettuccine by any sense. He's still a strong guy. But I do think he's been a little more calm, a little more relaxed.
The Annie Fry Show, weekdays from noon to 3.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Prescription products require completion of an online medication consultation with an independent healthcare provider through the LifeMD platform and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Individual results may vary. Additional restrictions apply at lifemd.com. Read all warnings before using GLP-1s. Side effects may include a risk of thyroid C-cell tumors. Do not use GLP-1s if you or your family have a history of thyroid cancer.
Should GLP-1 weight loss medication like Wegovy and Zepbound cost hundreds of dollars? We don't think so. TryLifeMD.com helps provide insurance access to the leading GLP-1 medications. Visit TryLifeMD.com to get your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility in minutes. Listen to Tara's story after losing 42 pounds.
You just take your shot. It doesn't feel like you're on a diet. What I wasn't expecting it to do was to shut off the food noise. I had gone from 237 to 195. This was life-altering, and if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
Get started right now with your free insurance benefits check and see your eligibility for coverage in minutes at TryLifeMD.com. That's TryLifeMD.com.
Is your home ready for the holidays? Beat the holiday rush and call our cleaning heroes at Zero Res. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $129 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
Steel holiday savings are here. Make room under the tree for gifts at the top of their wish list. Power up the holidays with great deals on long-lasting tools. Find the perfect gift at your local Steel dealer or shop the Steel Holiday Gift Guide at SteelUSA.com.
He's right. Marc Cox. Catch anything you missed today by getting the show podcast at 971talk.com.
Sick of my job, sick of my wife, sick of my future, and sick of my life.
All right, welcome back. Happy to have my friend Chad Hanson from Hanson's Tree Service in the studio, along with JT Thomas. And good to see you again, guys. How are you?
Good morning, man. Good to see you. I'm doing well.
Absolutely.
Happy
JT,
to be
you doing
here.
well?
Oh, my gosh. Fantastic.
Couldn't be better, huh?
Absolutely not.
That's great. So I'm going to tell a funny story, Kim. Kim knows the story. I don't think I shared this with the audience, though. I just have to say. So I got a chance to go pheasant hunting last year, and I had the time of my life. And my friend Chad here said, hey, we're going to go pheasant hunting again this year. I'm like, perfect. Sign me up. I didn't even ask what the dates were. And as it gets closer, I find out that it is the weekend before the election, right? And I would have had to been off that Friday and Monday right before the election. And I'm like, I loved it so much. I'm like, well, I can do that. I'll get back Monday night. I'll be back in time for the election. I go to my boss down the hall. I'm like, oh, by the way, I need that Monday off. They're like, they looked at me like I had 2 heads.
He acts like it was a big election or something.
Well, I know, yeah. So I called
That's
Chad
like
up.
our Super Bowl, right? Election day.
I called Chad up and I'm like, man, I don't think I'm going to be able to go. He goes, I've been waiting for this phone call. Well, Chad's like, what the hell were you thinking about taking off the week before the election?
This is actually a test, Mark, to see how dedicated you are to your job.
I know, but I had such
You
a great time.
almost
I almost failed it, Chad. Thank you for bailing me out there.
Yeah, I can't say I was surprised.
I know you weren't. I know you weren't. But thanks for coming. You know, earlier today, Kim had a story, and you guys got to tell us if this is real or just an excuse for lazy people. Tell them the story.
Well, they were saying instead of raking up your leaves, just leave them on there because it's good for the little animals and it helps your soil and all sorts of things.
Yeah, it can be. There's a happy medium. And, in the urban, I guess, footprint, the soil lacks good organic content. We've basically stripped the land of all organics, all the leaves, anything that decomposes gets taken off the yard, and you're never rebuilding that organic content. So leaves, as they decompose, it does add great organic content. However, if they're 2 inches thick, it's going to kill everything underneath it. It's going to blanket it out. So if you don't want your grass to grow, sure, absolutely. Leave a very thick layer of leaves on top. But,
and you're going to have a hacked off neighbor.
Yeah. Right.
But some leaves you're saying are good.
Yeah. It's not bad, especially if you mow them up and kind of
mulch them.
Yep,
maybe?
and get them to where they'll decompose faster in smaller pieces and kind of fall in between the grass. And if you aerate and that organic material falls down in the aeration holes, it actually is it's a good thing. We do the same thing with our compost and actually top dress soil and yards all across the county and. For that exact reason, adding organics back into the soil, but compost is basically just decomposed leaves and grass. And
so you can handle all that for people.
Yeah, we sell those products that do just that.
That's cool. You got JT in here. He's the mulch man. Is that what you called him? Does he have a cape?
Yeah, that's his super ego, the mulch man.
He needs a cape.
Yeah, going back to the leaves aspect and having a little bit on the lawn, I actually tell my wife the exact same thing. She asked me, she says, "Hey, when are you going to rake these leaves?" I said, it's the nutrients. That's part of my job. And so everything Chad said is like copy and paste. And she understands now.
Husbands, are you listening right now?
That's right.
That's what you tell your wives.
Thank me later.
Yeah. I love it. The fact, though, that let's get back to the mulch thing. You guys have been making your own mulch for years now, right? And making it available to people right on your website.
Yeah. Started out in tree care and had a lot of tree debris, so that morphed into making mulch and trying to find a different reason or a different purpose, I guess, for that waste material. And so we make hundreds of thousands of cubic yards of mulch a year now. Supply a lot of the metro area. You can get our materials at any Site 1, Kirkwood Material Location, World Outdoor Emporium, Schmidl's Nursery, and order right online at hansonstree.com.
Yeah. What makes it good, JT?
I would say what makes it good is
besides him selling it.
Besides him pitching it. Yeah.
Besides selling is the opportunity to provide education for consumers.
Yeah.
So people think, mulch is just this aesthetics aspect.
That's true.
But it does provide nutrients. And with the trees, that we utilize the debris, is that the nutrition is vital. So as it decomposes, it's an organic, natural product that, instead of using one aspect of a tree, like, for example, bark, which doesn't really decompose or add anything to the soil, the whole tree gets brought in, goes right back to the lawn. So someone can cut down their tree in their yard and a couple months later can be brought in as mulch for their landscaping. It's a completely full tree cycled process.
I love it. See, and you can pick whatever color you want, and you guys do all that stuff, which I'm certain maybe that's something you got to be careful about because you never know what you're buying. If you're just going out buying a bag of this stuff, what kind of chemicals or whatever they've used to dye it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of, we do a lot of dyeing, but we use a non-toxic dye. It's all high quality. There's our salesman is pretty interesting on the dye side. He'll come in and actually drink it and show you how his teeth turn black, but it's not bad for you.
How does his wife
friendly?
Yeah,
I'm sure he's brushing fairly heavily after that.
That's all these things you don't think about being toxic. Like
Right.
I was watching somebody say how a lot of rugs are made with toxic chemicals, and you just don't think about that.
Yep. It's in everything anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah, very, very true. But be sure and reach out to Hanson's Tree. I know we've been talking about your winter discounts you got coming up as well, right?
Yeah. Right now we're pushing a 10% winter discount, and anything booked before March 31st. So if you got trees that need to be removed or pruned, now is prime time.
Get your people out and keep them busy over the winter, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Give us a call, and we'll have our arborists come out and check out whatever you need looked at.
Fantastic. Well, guys, listen, we appreciate you coming in. Have a Merry Christmas. Y'all done, Chad?
I hope.
Yes.
I hope.
Come on, I know the gun store's still got a few sales going on.
I know.
What are you doing?
Keep me away from that, Mark.
His wife will probably not be thrilled with you.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, but we're going to go bird hunting again next year. So
yeah.
There's always some new toy we can go find somewhere.
Make sure you go the day before some really big day on the
Thank
show.
goodness there are no big elections next year. So it'll be fine. Whenever it is, you just let me know.
Yeah, I will make sure to let you know.
I'll be there. JT, good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you as well, Mark.
The mulch man. You really do need a cape.
Oh, we're getting him one.
Are you getting one?
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming.
All right. Check it out at hansonstree.com. Chad Hanson, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support. We appreciate that. Have a great holiday. Great Merry Christmas to you and your entire family. All right. It's going to do it for us. Brian Kilmeade coming up here shortly. And, of course, the Annie Fry Show. Mark Reardon a little later today. Have a great weekend. Kim's off next week. But I will see you back here Monday morning at 5 a.m. See you then.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
The TR Hughes Homes for the Holidays display and inventory sale is going on now through the rest of the year. Move-in ready, up to $50,000 in savings just in time for the holidays. Visit trhughes.com for details. That's trhughes.com.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial.